It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
We just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
That mother effing melts. You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
What's the point?
the point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We have just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me out of my misery.
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
You gotta run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we have just secured the bag.
But like, you gotta promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be all like my favorite movie. Time. It's so great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
the best guys, Tony Khan.
To keep themselves safe.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Live Show. It is Saturday nights, all right, to felt some sickos, some wackos, the IWC react to some wrestling news. Oh my God.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Welcome to PWT Live Show Saturday night. Yeah. I am your host of the show, Phil S. Marks.
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
And thank you guys for being here with me on tonight's show, rather. We have, nothing too serious or pressing that's going on. And actually, there is some good wrestlings on tonight if you are watching on YouTube. I think that's the best place to be watching. You got MLW Fusion, which we're going to talk about a bit. Collision's on tonight, which I'm like, whatever about. Noche de los Grandes night 2, like week 2, which isn't as strong of a card and it doesn't have as much hype, but we're going to talk about that a bit because they announced that there will be an announcement. My favorite thing in wrestling is when people announce that there will be an announcement. Am I right? So, yes. All of that and more. Miscellaneous news. We got TNA news. People walking out of TNA. Matt Koon's going to get destroyed in our newest segment, which is my favorite segment, by the way, Dirt Sheet Fails. So we are going to talk about that a little bit. Maybe some ratings wars. There's like literally 2 things in there. We've discovered like 2 ratings. So typically I just save those for Wednesday. We probably won't do that tonight, but either way, we have a jam-packed show. So also UFC's on. For those of you who are MMA heads, there's a fight night in Vegas, which I've got going on over here. So make sure you hit like, subscribe, become a member for only 99 cents. We took a break last week. I took a break from member shows, but Member Monday, this Monday, we will do a member show. We will watch Raw or just whatever the members want to do. Maybe I'll poll just the members. Shout out any new patrons, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. And tonight I set a super chat goal over on YouTube, youtube.com/ProWrestleClips, 10 super chats. So doesn't matter what color they are. 10 super chats. If we hit that in the next like 3 hours, we'll do a sicko segment that I have lined up, a wacko segment. Actually, believe it or not, dude, we got a wacko segment lined up where it's some good funny stuff, but also some wacko activity on the WWE fan side. Last time we just made fun of AEW fans. I was like, hey, we got to mix it up. We'll do WWE fans if we hit that tonight. We'll stick around a little longer and do that. So, I appreciate you again. You can become a member like Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17, who's been a member for 22 months of membership, dude. That's an insane amount of time. And also Kevin Pierpont, who's been a member for 13 months. Oh my God. Fake! And I want to acknowledge a round of applause for you guys. So on the one board, I got everything organized. I got on this one, I got half of it done alphabetically. And Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for 5 says, if I have Tony come some money, I will go to every single store and buy all the Pokemon cards and give them to the children in the hospitals. Oh, well, aren't you a sweet in the eyes of the angel? Right?
This thing's for dirt bags and lily pickers.
You're going to have to fight a bunch of neckbeards to get to the Pokemon cards. That's the problem, because I don't know if you guys keep up with all of that, but there's, I don't know what you call them, like pack rippers? What do you call them? They just go and get these packs and fucking, they're just like buying them out, and stores have to limit them and things. And then they're resealing packs and flipping them and selling them to marks online. And oh, it's a crazy time. So here we go. We're off to a good start here. 2 super chats out of test. We got 8 left. We got 8 more super chats, and we'll do the wacko segment. You guys are crushing it already. Kevin Pierpont for 2 sweet says, you were just scared of some rain on Monday. Yeah. Dude, it's raining again. No, yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not scared of rain. I love the rain. Okay. Now I know only I can stop the rain. Fucking, it's been storming. It's just been raining nonstop. So we're going into like week 2 of just pretty much cloudy and raininess, but hopefully it passes by and we have a very hot summer. And yeah, I appreciate your support. I was definitely scared of the rain though, dude. Lincoln Hawk for $5. He says $5, $5, $5, $5, $5. There you go, buddy. Thank you so much for the support. So round of applause to everybody who's a member. If you're just here chilling, hit the like, heart, retweet, come say hello, all that good shit. Let's get into it. I know you guys came here for wrestling news and not to stare at my logo.
Wrestling's not fake!
Let me acknowledge
me.
And let's get into some stuff. We have a pretty jam-packed miscellaneous news section here, which I am most definitely excited for. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Wrestling Chico comes in. Wrestling Chico with 5 says, I can't believe Meltzer gave the El Grande Americano match 5.75 stars match rating. Dead. PWT for life, Chico. Dude. So that is in WWE news, and we will talk about that a little bit when we get there. So thank you for bringing that up. And honestly, I don't want to say I'm even shocked that he did it. I had a feeling he was going to at least give it a 5 because it's just undeniable. There's some things where it's like if he didn't, he knew he'd just get completely dragged and it would seem as though he's out of touch, because even the sicko bubble he confides in, they were like, this was the shit, this was awesome, you know. So he tried to be like, well, the presentation, I mean, you know, and then he made it all about Gable and shit. I talked about that before, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that star rating for sure. So we are almost halfway there, guys, so thank you guys for the support. This is amazing. Let's get into, though, some miscellaneous news. And again, a few of the sounds are out of whack. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for miscellaneous news. So, Andre Chase will now be going by the Professor Andre Chance and is officially available for bookings. I mean, how lucky is he that he can just be Andre Chance and it's just one letter difference from his other name? It's almost too perfect. And this will not be hard to remember. You know, again, I was watching MLW earlier, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And you have Bishop, Dyer, Baron Corbin, Tom Pestock, right? So Andre Chase is now Andre Chance. He's the Professor. So he was he like a frat leader, or was he also presented as, were they ever like, and he's a teacher, he's got his graduate's degree? Let me actually look this up. Was Andre Chase a teacher, for lack of a better term, just a teacher, in kayfabe in WWE? Okay, so he was a teacher in kayfabe. He was an head instructor, founder, professor. So he was referred to as all of those things. So, I mean, that's awesome. This is just an extension of that. It's perfect. We went over his video of him talking about being released, and he just seems so positive and like not happy that he's not in WWE, but just like, okay, I got an opportunity here to go do something. So shout him out. I was never the biggest fan of him, but it is what it is. Speaking of being a big fan, Morgan Wallen is a huge fan. Not only are a lot of people a fan of him and his music, but he's a huge fan of pro wrestling. And this is the second, third, fourth, maybe pro wrestler that he's done a walkout with. And he was in Pittsburgh. Any Steel City motherfuckers in chat? I don't know, but Kurt Angle was there. He got a pretty good pop for just vibing. So, speaking of vibes, man, Vicky Guerrero announces she has been named the president of Cornerstone Travel. And so former WWE AEW personality Vicky Guerrero has announced that as of June 1st, she has stepped into the role of president of Cornerstone Travel, the Galveston, Texas travel agency, where she previously served as vice president. So good for her. You know, doing other things outside of wrestling. It's good to see. So speaking of getting up to stuff outside of wrestling, and in the real world, Hulk Hogan, dude, he passed away. The late Hulk Hogan, the great Hulk Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan. And so the New York Post reports that the Clearwater Police Department has closed its nearly 11-month investigation into the death of Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, ruling it an attended natural death with no evidence of criminal wrongdoing. Hogan died July 24, 2025 at age 71, and a private autopsy found that natural disease alone caused his death. So, again, thank you, Hogan. Hulk still rules. Hulk rules forever, brother. And yeah, I mean, he had so many fucking surgeries that take so much years off your life, or so much time off your life, rather. And all the bumps he took, that takes time. Like all the partying he did in the 80s and shit. Just imagine the shit he was doing. You know? So Hulk still rules, brother. And there was no foul play. So Bubba the Love Sponge, fuck off. You know, all you fucking people grifting off of his death. Fuck off. Speaking of people who fucked off, Alba Fire, a.k.a. Kaylee Ray, fucked off from WWE, but she has appeared here at Wrestling Eve 150. Here's her first appearance since leaving the Evil Fed. Let's take a look.
For depth here. Oh, whoa, hang on a minute. Oh my God! And I recognize that music, Nina.
I certainly recognize that music. I think this is potentially who the crowd were expecting.
Oh my God!
That's a fucking great pop. So they just swear, Kylie fucking Ray. Holy shit. Are you guys hiring a male commentator? There's perhaps hope for me yet.
Hailing from Johnston, Scotland, she is the previous WWE Tag Team and NXT Tag Team Champion. She is the longest reigning champion in WWE. She is a hardcore daredevil. She is the forever champion. She is the colossus of chaos. She is the scary queen of Scots. She is
just 15. She is a girl with red hair. She is a girl who was a witch one time in kayfabe. She's a girl who likes ramen on a Sunday. She's a girl who really enjoyed Stranger Things. You know, just listing everything. She likes long walks on the beach.
Hayley! She is the queen of insanity!
Stupid!
This is the return of the demon! Hayley!
Listen, Nina Samuels, we anyone in women's professional wrestling has stepped through those ropes. Legends, pioneers, women at the beginning of their careers, women making a name for themselves. Nobody has ever personified Pro Wrestling Eve more than Kaylee fucking Ray.
There you go. Listen to the ovation.
And she is back home. And listen, I've got goosebumps, Nina.
Kaylee been hiding under another identity for many years, and I know we, along with everyone here, are so happy to see the return of the real Kaylee Ray.
That's awesome. Shout out EVE Wrestling. And yeah, just a lot of these feds and indies doing some good shit. And that's good. That's good stuff right there. A lot of people were like TNA or whatever. I'm like an MLW. We'll talk about Fusion in just a second. But at GCW, New Jersey's own rap legend Fetty Wap will be in the house as the special guest. This was tonight, so it was on Triller. It's either over or you guys are watching it now. And much like Rey Mysterio, Fetty Wap is the rapper who lost an eye. You guys know this guy? 1738. That guy. I said it was up. Hello. He had like the one song and then he kind of disappeared and shit. Shout out Fetty Wap. That one song is a banger though. And will live in infamy. So MLW Fusion went down. I was watching it just before I jumped on the air, and Shotzi Blackheart became the new MLW Women's World Champion. And I just want to say, like, the way they recap stories, the way they set up matches for the next shows, the upcoming shows, the way they pace out which matches they're announcing. Like, so for the last 2 weeks, they've been like Riddle. Yeah, sorry. I muted myself there. I'm not sure when that happened, but like a minute or damn you, it was like 2 minutes. So basically I'm just breaking down MLW, and what I'm saying is this, okay? The presentation is awesome. They do a good job of building up to each match. Like each week they have like a specific match they're really focused on and that they're focused on promoting. So like for the last 2 weeks, they've been promoting like Cross versus Riddle for the MLW title and just kind of putting over how they were once friends, now they're foes. That's really good shit. And then this week's match was the Good Brothers versus the Skyscrapers in a tag team elimination match that was mostly hyped up. And of course the Shotzi match as well. But they do a good job of recapping things, telling you what's going on with Contra, telling you what's going on with their titles. They talked about how next week there's also like the announcement of a new title, so they're going to announce like a new championship, and they have the world title match, and they pick and choose like two main things, like, you know, one A thing or like A1 thing, and then an A2 thing to really promote and focus on, and then there's always like a BC thing you know, now am I fully invested in like some of the wrestlers I don't know? No, I'm going to have to learn about some of them. But when I see Shotzi having bangers and then they're showing a hype video for like a vignette for this Japanese wrestler lady who's just been killing everybody in recent weeks. This show, the way it's formatted, the way it's paced, the way they cut to a commercial, but it's on YouTube, so it comes right back. Just the aesthetic of it as well, like the sound effects they use. The pew, pew, it's like you know, the signals are being transmitted, man. That's like their whole vibe and presentation. I fucking love it. Front to back, and I think MLW Fusion is like really creeping its way up. We're gonna see them, like, who knows if they could land a TV deal. Fusion just came back, but they have interesting characters. You know, Cruel, I went hard on him for that fucking whole fake stabbing incident in Minecraft, but like, he's still cool as shit, and I like him and stuff, you know, and he's like a focal point of this whole Contra storyline that they have going on. And yeah, I don't know. It's just cool. I think Butcher and Blade should go there. I think someone like Kaylee Ray could thrive there. I think Butcher and Blade should show up and get in the mix of this Skyscrapers, Butcher and Blade, Good Brothers. I think that's like a cool, the way they present their tag division is like really super serious and serial. That's always welcome. And yeah, let's take a look at some of the tag action and congratulations to Shotzi. Their belt looks cool. The presentation, the aesthetic of all the shows look really nice. I'm really becoming an MLW Fusion mark. You just throw it on. So it comes on like Saturday. I think where I muted myself is when I was talking about Saturday afternoon, I think. For me anyways, we don't change our times like psychopaths. But you know, comes on like 3-4 o'clock. You just throw it on YouTube. You know, you can catch the replay later. Obviously, make sure you do that. Make sure you're keeping up with MLW Fusion. And yeah, I've just been throwing it on the last 2 afternoons, and it's great. It's just good. Everything about it. It's fast paced. It's quick. It's like, oh, it's already done. Holy shit. And I really have been enjoying it. Yeah, the last like 2 weeks. So I told you guys I want JCW. I don't know, guys. I'll watch clips. I'll laugh at it. I can't, like, I'm not going to start watching it. I'm sorry. And sorry, Vince, Vince Russo. But Fusion, I think it's got me. Like, I'm more interested in watching that than like fucking Collision or whatever. Just being perfectly honest, and not even trying to be like an anti-AEW guy. It's just, I don't know. Maybe because it's just fresh and unique and they're presenting it. It's about presentation as well, you know, and AAA's got that down, obviously, even though it is just an extension of what WWE already does. They're just doing what WWE does, but in AAA, and it's really the booking and the storytelling and the time taken to explain characters and what they're after and stuff like that. That's what Undertaker, like Dave Meltzer, and anybody who doubts AAA or WWE, they can sit there and go, oh, well, it's Undertaker's booking or it's the presentation or whatever the fuck. I don't know, man. It's just an extension of what WWE does. They do this with everything, and that's what works clearly because it's working again. But it's also Undertaker's booking and Borash. Borash doesn't get enough credit too. He deserves a lot of credit. And also the people like Conan and Chavo Guerrero who like put it in motion, you know? Like they put this shit in motion, so they all deserve credit, even though I don't think Chavo and Conan aren't there like every week in and week out the way they were previously. But let's take a look at MLW's tag team action here. They were brawling an elimination style table match. You had to put both of your opponents through the tables, and what happened was the Skyscrapers retained, and then they just kept brawling as the show went off the air, which I thought was amazing.
Look out, they're still fighting out here in front of us. And you knew that a win or a loss wasn't going to settle this.
This is exactly what we expected. Maybe these refs aren't going to be able to stop these guys. Can we get Chicago PD here?
It's shades of Charleston. It's shades of Battle Riot. It's every time we see these teams, they do battle, and they may continue until one's destroyed. We're out of time. The fight's continuing. Get them apart.
And it's just their identity, dude. Like the black and red and white. Okay, have we seen that? Is that Raw colors? Yes, but look, they're presenting it in their own way, like it's their identity. Um, you know, the way the referees and the officials are dressed with the red shirts, it just gives it its own thing that I feel like, and again, not to make shit about AEW, but they need that. They need to like take the black and solid gold and really make that their identity, because the whole rainbow thing is much like the product, if you will, or the show itself. It's just all over the place, and it's not, you don't get any vibe from it. Like ROH has got more of a vibe even than AEW in a sense, because Tone's giving it its retro aesthetic and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. This went off the air before I came on the air really well. I was into this. I was like, holy shit. And the commentary is really great. The way they're getting over, like, these two teams are just at each other's throats. And if Corbin's leaving, fuck me. Seems like he's got another match on the horizon, So I don't know how often they tape these or when they tape these. And I don't want to know because I don't want to see spoilers. And I hope no spoilers start coming up my fucking timeline. Okay. So lastly, here in miscellaneous news, we have the season 7 trailer of Dark Side of the Ring. And the season begins with a 3-part look at the controversy and backstage battles that defined TNA wrestling through the eyes of Jeff Jarrett. The 3-part TNA event begins with a 2-hour premiere July 7 on Vice TV and concludes the following week. And again, TNA taking it to another level with Dark Side of the Ring, because Chris Benoit got like a double episode. I think season 2 or 3, they gave him a 2-parter. And I don't think any other episode has gotten a 2-parter, but TNA not only did that, they got a 3-parter going on, and you'll never guess who is in the trailer, folks.
They say that fame changes folks. The real reality is fame doesn't change folks. It reveals folks.
Dark Side of the Ring is back.
You're not supposed to hang people on television. This is not fake. They just beat the shit out of each other.
It is Dark Side of the Ring after all.
What the fuck is he doing here?
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Oh, it is Dark Side of the Ring after all. He already, just the way he's saying these words, because Dark Side of the Ring, like, they get a good interview out of everybody. Look at just the look on his face and the way he sounds is so fucking weird and off-putting. Like, he just can't be normal or real to save his life.
Ring after all.
7.
Ring after all. Whoa, buddy, are you in the fucking back rooms haunting me right now? Like, that's some creepy ass. What did you just say? It is Dark Side of the Ring after all. What the fuck is he doing there? Unless they're going to slip in a special fucking 4-parter about AEW. What, all the fights. Like, Tone will appear on this show and be like, well, that Fed sucked. And, well, Eddie Kingston told me once that Dixie Carter stank. And I'm a better booker than her. Tone's made all the same mistakes of every bad booker ever. And, like, here's the thing. Tone will partake in this. But will he allow Darkseid next season? Then we want to see a Tone season 8, CM Punk versus the Elite. And let's have everyone sit down and you come sit down and do it. He won't do that. Tone won't do that. He won't do that at all. So it's funny. He'll show up to be like, well, Dixie Carter was the shits. And because Dixie Carter won't show up for this, apparently, right? But I guarantee you, because you could do a 2-parter next season on Punk or just all the fights in AEW. You could have a 4-parter because, like, Eddie Kingston slapped someone, Andrade fucking slapped someone. You could have fucking Matt Hardy falling off the thing, hitting the back of his head. And then you could do 2 episodes on Punk, the first fight between him and the Elite, and then the fight between him and Jack Perry and shit. Would Tone show up for those? He fucking wouldn't. And why hasn't the Dark Side of the Ring guys done that yet? Now, I will give them this. There's an element to waiting. Like, you might want to wait a while You know, like if this show goes 10 seasons, you might want to save that for season 10, like Punk in AEW 2-parter or whatever. But it's crazy that Tone shows up for this, but somehow AEW's evaded Darkseid even doing anything that relates to them, really, after all the bullshit that's gone down, like Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Is that not a dark side of the ring? There's some weird shit that went down there. Now, again, that's very current stuff, but we will see in due time. Will Tone sit down and do a dark side of the ring when it comes to the Elite versus Punk backstage brawl? I don't think he'd do that because he doesn't like doing shit like that. Now, he did go on Coach and Bro, so maybe there's hope for it, but
it is dark side of the ring after all.
I wonder if he's just going to be on the episode just marking out over Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe. I bet that's all he's really doing, you know, but it's
the best
cringe,
guys,
man.
Tony Khan.
Like, come on, bro.
The new stories with the can't miss.
He just is like using his money to like check off like Mark fantasies he had, like a Mark fantasy bucket list.
3-hour premiere. Our biggest story yet.
In pro wrestling, people get drunk with power. Jeff had all the backstabbers backstabbing the backstabbers.
Somebody's gonna die tonight. Dark Side of the Ring. New season premieres Tuesday, July 7th at 9 on Vice. You know, they...
Damn. And they got Samoa Joe. Tone was like, yes, I'll let you talk to my wrestlers. We'll give you access to the AEW locker room, but I need to be allowed on the show too. Is that what Tone fucking said? I almost guarantee it, man. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was miscellaneous news.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Holy. So quickly, I want to check why we have some people trending right now. And I want to see why. So Dave Meltzer was trending for a second. And I just wanted to see why. I don't think anything important. So, okay. And then just, all right, Maven talking shit. So we already got that. We already got that for him. Okay. All right. Because Triple H is trending too. I'm like, well, what happened? And yeah, it's just he's getting people talking shit about him. So, all right, guys. Yeah, so we have a super chat goal. We're at 4 out of 10. If we get to 10, we'll also do a wacko segment. I know some people have been tuning in. People have been filing in here as the show has gone on. That was just the intro, the light intro to the show, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to get into some more stuff. I want to talk about TNA news. There's not a whole lot, but there is some controversy. What's chat saying? Right, true crime, no matter what your opinion is on WWE or AEW, it's welcomed here. You might get a rebuttal, but you definitely won't ever be attacked or blocked. Yeah, for sure. Come. Sickos are welcome, dude. You guys already know that. I welcome fucking everybody here. And I just try to be fair. If you don't agree with my opinion and I go hard on shit, oh well. You know, it's like it's not the end of the world. And I'm truly a wrestling fan, and I think people can see that. So welcome one and all. But okay, Tony letting Paige, Christian, Danielson, Sting, and potentially Foley wrestle when they couldn't pass a physical in WWE that's what I mean. That's what I fucking mean. And if something bad happens to Foley, and we're gonna talk about that in a bit, fuck, you know. Steamboat Tone is the polar bear in Arlington, Texas. Okay, guys. So let's get into this. Maven just needs to go away. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So let's actually get into Phil Marks' book. We're going to talk about TNA news next here. And there's not a whole lot, but we will get our aces and our eights and our banjos in the chat. Okay? Because it is time for TNA news. Brought to you by patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. So Tommy Dreamer thought Tonga Loa was going to be a huge star for TNA, and he even reminded him of The Rock. Now, I can't believe Tonga Loa got fucking released from WWE. I'm just devastated by that. Like, I really wanted to see it all lead up to like the Usos and versus the GODs eventually. And now we're like getting into Bloodline versus Floodline round 2 type shit, where Jacob could become the next Roman Reigns through this storyline. I know people are boo-booing on it, and it feels like WWE's looping, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Tonga Loa being The Rock is fucking hilarious. And so this guy says Tommy saw the vision, just wasn't allowed to come to fruition. So shout out Tonga Loa, and he could show back up in TNA. I mean, there's an angle to be had where him and he takes maybe Zilla Fatu under his wing or something like that, and they go, I mean, it might be kind of rehashing shit, but the bloodline runs deep, you know what I'm saying? So Myla Grace recently asked for her release from TNA and had it granted this week. So again, we're seeing another wrestler on the TNA roster being like, release me. And it's not like it's some mass exodus, but obviously Myla Grace doesn't like how she's been booked, maybe sees other opportunities to grind away on the indies and make more money doing that. Maybe she got a phone call for a tryout somewhere else. Maybe Tony Khan's interested in her. Maybe she's like, you know what, I could do indies and make it to MLW. Who fucking knows? But she asked for her release and was granted it. So again, TNA open to, you know, releasing folks that they might not have plans
Master
for.
need to obliterate.
Like any immediate plans for, at least. So we'll see if this happens with more people. I don't think this is like anything to be alarmed about. I don't really know what she was doing, and beyond, you know, like Mance left and him and I think SDL, or at least Mance, are in ROH, and like that's better for them. At least they're like being used routinely, and Tone will just let them do whatever they want. I'm not saying that's what she wants to do, and who knows, it could be a personal reason. I'm not even sure if this stuff was elaborated on any further, but it's not really a good sign when somebody asks for their release, but also it could just be her betting on herself, or maybe she's got some personal shit going on. But she was somebody that when people saw TNA signed her up, they were like, oh my God, Myla Grace type shit, you know? Not saying it was like, you know, somebody, it's not like the Rascals level, but if she shows up in AEW or ROH, even though like no one will really see it or care if it's ROH, or even though people will see her debut in AEW and they'll sort of laugh it off and shrug it off because like, okay, you go to AEW to fucking not get booked and stuff. If AEW scoops her up, then damn, that's like, you know, Tone is really going after TNA. You know? Because why else would she ask to leave? It's not like you're asking to leave TNA unless WWE's like, oh, we like her, we want her in the PC, but then you just do a deal like TNA and WWE just do a deal, right? So she shows up in ROH/AEW. Tone's just going for the jugular, you know? Not saying that she's like a death blow, but again, some of the people WWE take from AEW aren't death blows either until they make it be the case, right? Like taking Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW doesn't really change anything for AEW. It's just a fumble on Tony's part. Now, if they make Hobbs into a fucking giant star, then that's when it becomes a death blow. But when they took like a Rhodes or a Punk from AEW, those are death blows. Those are like kill shots aiming for the heart or the brain. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if Tony can keep chipping away at them, but if she just like does her thing on the indies or steps away from wrestling or something, then it was obviously something other than that, but something to keep an eye on. something, something, something. That's why I kicked your leg from your leg, Brett. And that was TNA news. I said something a lot of times, I feel like. No? You ever say a word so many times and then it starts sounding weird? You're like, why does it sound like that? Anyways, that was TNA news. All right, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit retweet, hit heart, all that good shit. And yeah, let's get to 10 super chats. Shout everybody out. I want to get fucking... So Collision's on, right? Do we throw Collision on? There's also fights on. There's so many things on right now. Why is Meltzer trending? I am genuinely curious. Let me... Oh, no, it just switched to Collision. So literally I went to click on Meltzer and then it just... No, he's not trending. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe just people talking about his rating for the El Grande match, right? Okay. Where do we go next? Do we do AEW and WWE news? Because we are going to felt Matt Keen, which is going to be funny. I'm just not sure what we should do next here. Should I pull up Collision? Yay or nay? Put Collision on double its viewing figures. It's so mean. You guys are just meanies. Yeah, I might. Collision. I mean, I'd rather have fights on. I got to be perfectly honest. But we will throw Collision on. Okay. While I throw Collision on, ladies and gentlemen, and to help get those fucking likes up, Chris Jericho. Okay, guys. Collision's on. So let's get into should we get into some WWF news here? I think that's the way to go. No, let's do AEW news because we're talking about it here. So everybody, Ichi Nissan, because it's time for AEW news. So somebody that I talked about last show and somebody that everybody's been talking about as of late in the pro wrestling world is one Mick J. Foley. And I don't know if that's his middle name, but this has recently come out, and friend of the show, JJ Alexander, has gone off on rants, like getting mad online about, oh, Mick Foley's in AEW and he's going to wrestle a match and he's just there to do a hardcore match against fucking MJF and da-da-da-da-da. And people were like, dude, chill. You're just getting mad about shit that hasn't even happened yet. We don't even know if it's going to happen, right? And then all of a sudden this comes out. According to Wrestle Votes and Fightful Select, AEW sources spoken to believe that Mick Foley had made up his mind, and I've made up my mind. Here I go again on my own. Gonna fall through a table on Collision, right? And so he's made up his mind that he would wrestle once more and that it would be in AEW. It is believed that if he got cleared, which he will, Tony Khan would be eager to book the match. So again, Tony Khan is eager to see another person to give this guy millions of dollars, a person Tone grew up fucking watching. He wants to see him crippled, okay? Ospreay, all of these guys. Let's talk about the people who got cleared when they shouldn't have. Maybe Paige, I don't know, she's doing the damn thing in WWE, but Danielson. You could argue fucking Edge only got cleared because he would have just went to AEW sooner. Look at Danielson, dude. He had to just abruptly retire. Fucking metal rods in his arms. His doctor's like, you can't do shit. Your fucking brain's rocked up, and that was already a problem in WWE. Tone is just gonna let these people like wrestle until they drop and die. It's pretty crazy. And so JJ Alexander was yelling about some shit that came true. Who else is the match? I know some people are like, oh, Moxley. Some people think, no, it's not going to be Mox. I know they teased that years ago. But MJF has, Mick Foley has said that if he wrestles anybody, maybe he didn't word it this way. Like, I'm not saying this shit verbatim, but he essentially said, like, if he comes back to wrestle, MJF's a guy he would love to get in there with. Like, that's pretty much the guy that he sees he could help. And how will he help him, you might be asking? Well, he's going to go into fucking through a table off the apron. He's going to go through thumbtacks. He's going to fall through a flaming table. He is going to maybe not take a chair shot to the head, but he'll get cut up. He'll get sliced up. MJF will cheese grater him and fucking he'll do a thumbtack spot and he'll blade and he'll fucking bleed and he'll do as much as he can with MJF, and MJF will blade and bleed and he'll be gushing and leaking everywhere as well. And it'll be like this old timer takes MJF to the fucking limit as well. So it's only going to bury MJF. And yeah, for people giving JJ shit online, the fucking sickos who are giving him shit online, it's happening. It's fucking happening. Mick Foley's going to wrestle MJF. Okay, guys? Now, will that be at All In? Possibly. I mean, Dave Meltzer laid out everything. Let me lay something out here. Now, if they, and people are going to hate this in chat, but I'm just saying, like, for the freak show aspect, like, you can't help but agree with me on this one. If at Forbidden Door, MJF was like, let's take it back to Japan and fucking me versus Mick in an exploding barbed wire death match. Okay, that might like help their ticket sales and maybe do a pay-per-view number for them. I'm not saying I want to see it. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I don't even know if Mick could get cleared that quickly. He did look like, he lost some weight and stuff. But that, okay, maybe there's like no build. There's like not enough time to build that properly in my, like, to warrant a fucking exploding barbed wire death. But that might help that pay-per-view. But with All In, if you put Mick Foley on it, it's not going to help the ticket sales one way or the other. Could that match happen there? Yes, it could, because Dave Meltzer pretty much laid it out. And he's like, everybody knows, what they're going to do. But the question is Omega the champ? versus Ospreay, and he's like, I think they should do Omega winning in Montreal, and then Omega versus Ospreay for the title. They're 1-1, one in New Japan, one in AEW / New Japan. So then the final one will be Ospreay winning the rubber match in the main event at All In Wembley. Dave laid it all out. Okay, what's going to happen? And then he said MJF versus Hangman. Now, I don't really give a fuck. Like, what Hangman can be in, again, a match with anybody. It doesn't really matter. Like, that's the thing with Hangman. It does not really matter what he does, unfortunately. So he can just be in a match with whoever. It doesn't even need to be MJF. But if that's like the backup match, like let's say they can get Mick versus MJF in a hardcore match at All In at Wembley and shit, yeah, I think they'll do it there. Why wouldn't you do it there? Because Hangman can just fight whoever. But if they have to go, okay, well, we're going to do Hangman versus MJF. I mean, let's face it. You could do Joe MJF, Hangman MJF. You could put a Swerve MJF. Like, if MJF's not going to have the fucking title, you can put him against anyone really too. And again, the tickets aren't moving, like, unless you pull a Goldberg out of your ass, Goldberg versus MJF, like, I don't think you'll see a drastic ticket sale shift regardless of who you put MJF up fucking against. I think if you keep him champion and go into the pay-per-view with him as champ, I think that could maybe help them a little bit, because people like MJF, like, clearly, you know, like, as far as they like watching him as the bad guy champion on their TVs and shit. But if he's just out of the title picture so that Dave just lays out, Dave is like, oh, I think everybody knows what it's going to be. And he just lays it out. Kenny wins in Montreal. And think about how fucking lame that is and how shitty Tone is. So Darby wins in Seattle because he's from there. And then MJF wins in New York because he's from there. And then Kenny wins in Canada because he's from there. And then Ospreay wins in the UK because he's
Sometimes
from there.
in life, you got to be a hoe.
Tone is the fucking worst booker of all time. Dark side of the ring level. The worst booker ever. So, again, man, he's going to do it. He's going to let Mick do some dumbass shit. And I bet we see Mick get beat with, like, MJF will hit him with some shit and then headlock takeover, pin 1, 2, 3, and they'll get that over more. And does it give the rub to MJF? Like, a little bit. Is it like a dream scenario for MJF? Sure. It's going to be MJF, though. It won't be Darby because that's just too physical. Like, even though Darby weighs 90 pounds, like, that's when Darby's hurling, he hurls himself at people. Like, what makes Darby work is that everybody's heavier than him. So he hurls himself at you, and it's like a toddler fucking, you know, jumping on your lap. It's like, okay, it's maybe a little uncomfortable, but he just fucking, he weighs 10 pounds, so it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't really hurt you. So that's why that style works. To do that to Mick, like, he's fragile and old, you know? So I guarantee Mick will let MJF slam him in tacks, maybe do a flaming table. Mick will for sure blade. I don't think he'll take like a chair shot to the head, but maybe one, though. And I think he will let MJF, he'll tell, like, remember when Mick Foley got Randy Orton over at like Backlash when he went all Cactus Jack and he let Randy like kick him down the stairs and fucking potato him and shit? That's what Mick will do. He will tell MJF and allow MJF to like be stiff with him in there with like the 10 punches in the corner and shit, you know, like he'll be like, lay them in. And if they do it correctly, I mean, it could get some heat and shit, but I just don't like, how long are they going to go as well? It's going to end up going short. Foley's going to get relatively murked, but he's going to like take MJF to the hardcore limit as far as, well, maybe not. Like, they could maybe draw it out 20 fucking minutes if they're just walking around doing hardcore shit, right? And Mick's just like, okay, here's one like chair shot and MJF selling for most of it. And then he really fucking puts it on Mick. Like, okay. We are talking about the match. It is intriguing. And seeing Mick Foley in Sandman's last match where he was punching the Invisible Man, I was like, dude, what's the difference between this and him doing a match in AEW? or like doing a match anywhere else. And we've talked about this before he even officially signed with AEW, because he said he would love to have a match with MJF. And when he went in there at the Sandman match and he was throwing punches at the Invisible Man, it's like, that's what a working punch is. You know, you're not really fucking in the, so what's the difference between him doing that and he even bumped for the Invisible Man or whatever. So what's the difference between that and him working MJF? Like, obviously it's on Mick's mind, and he's lost weight and he's moving around a little better than we've seen him in recent years, like getting in and out of the ring at some indie dates, you know? So clearly it's been on his mind, and this is just troubling to me. I think if it's, in my opinion, they should have got on this earlier and then did a fucking Japanese barbed wire death match at Forbidden Door for the world title and tried to sell a fucking pay-per-view. And yes, is that Mark and dumb hotshot booking? Yes, but that's what AEW is. So think about what AEW is. That's my idea for it. Or they save it for All In. Honestly, I think that, like, even though Mick Foley's old and washed, the intrigue and the name value is more valuable than just MJF versus anybody. Like, okay, MJF versus Hangman does nothing. MJF versus Swerve, who cares? MJF versus Moxley, who gives a fuck? MJF versus who? Bandito. Like, who really cares, you know? Hangman versus MJF, Hangman versus fucking Swerve. Like, nobody cares, you know? All of these guys looming around the top. None of it really matters, okay? So, All In, Wembley, Dave laid it out. Omega, Ospreay, MJF, Mick Foley, and a hardcore, whatever the fuck. That's what's going to happen. That's my official prediction. Tone thinks it's great. I think this is fucking ridiculous. I think it's abhorrent. And I think it's kind of grotesque. Because you know what Mick's willing to do. You know what he's willing to do. And, yeah, I mean, will it be good for MJF's legacy? Possibly. Is it going to be good heel heat for him to beat up old man Mick? Yes. Were people still accepting Terry Funk, though? You got to look at this like, if Terry Funk was like, I'm an old man, I'm going to come back and fight MJF, I'm an old man, people would kind of pop for that shit. Let's be honest. He did it a million times. I know people are disgusted because Tone has cleared guys and has allowed like Ibushi to walk out there with broken legs, and fucking he's allowed Tanahashi to go out there just looking like a shell of himself, and he's allowed fucking Matt Hardy to fall off cranes and crack his skull and still work concussed, and multiple other wrestlers, and he's allowed he cleared people that nobody thought would be cleared, and he allowed Danielson to get cleared and then go out there and wrestle until the wheels literally fell off. And he allowed Adam Cole to go out there and get fucking apron bombed and KO'd for the rest of his life, you know? Like, all this time later, too, you hear the Bucks talking about, man, we just hope that Adam Cole heals up and boom. But, like, that's how bad he got fucked up in AEW. He went there and it ended his career. Kyle O'Reilly, too, with his nagging neck problems and shit. So yes, Tone deserves like criticism and flack for all of that, but just in a vacuum, if you want to talk about like what's going to sell and what they should do for All In, let's be fucking for real here, chat. Let's be for real. Okay? Will it be rehashing the Randy Orton stuff a little bit? Yeah, but you let MJF spit in Mick Foley's face, do all that sicko shit. And then if they're going to do the match, you do it at All In. If he's going to do it at fucking All In. Don't waste it at some bullshit. But Mick, how do they get to this match? Maybe MJF's like cheats, knocks out Omega with the fucking diamond ring, and then that's when Mick Foley hits him with the barbed wire bat or whatever, you know, like to help. And then like MJF stumbles backwards into the fucking one-winged angel or something. I don't know. But you have to get the title off of MJF, which I don't think is the move, but Dave laid it out for us. That's what's going to happen. He fucking spoiled it, so because he's a dumbass. But yeah, All In, that's going to go down. And shout out JJ Alexander, who wasn't triggered for no reason. He was actually triggered because he knew that this shit was going to happen. So speaking of MJF and getting hurt, According to Brian Alvarez, MJF's injury is legit, but they're hoping it's not serious. So now he's allegedly working banged up. And again, this could be the Observer doing like work for Tone and AEW and getting this narrative out there to make it like he's really banged up and hurt, and that's why Mick Foley stands a chance even against him, you know, and he loses the title. Like they tried to do that with Darby. Well, Darby's just fighting till he collapses. And clearly Dave is right, because what is Tone doing? He's just quickly stuffing in a bunch of title defenses for MJF because he's going to drop this shit in Montreal to Kenny. So that's fucked up. He booked Darby shit the same way as MJF's. And they're going to be like, MJF's hurt and he's banged up, and the dirt sheets are all saying he's hurt and he's been legit hurt, and they're just working Alvarez as well because he's a dumb fuck. And that's going to be why Foley's able to take MJF to the limit a little bit. You know what I mean? And they will have a segment where they do an epic back and forth promo battle that everybody will put over and be like, damn, you know, that was actually a really good promo back and forth. But again, it's craziness. It's craziness. We're even talking about, like, MJF should be ashamed. Remember they tried to stick him with fucking Jeff Jarrett too? And then they just kiboshed that out of nowhere. Like, what's with, like, we're going to stick him with, like, these old guys that fucking shouldn't be able to hang with him. It's mental, man. MJF, it's going to get to a point in the next couple years, if he doesn't dip out by next year, that where people are like, dude, he's done. Like, he's got no stories. This shit's tired. He's just fighting all the old heads. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. So we move along here. MJF, it's just announced that he suffered a hyperextended knee during last night's Dynamite and has been pulled from his match with Bobby Orlando at Beyond Wrestling. So again, how prestigious is this title? And what does this title mean? And why would people pay an arm and a leg to go see fucking this Wembley show where there's only 25,000 tickets sold, and motherfuckers are talking about, oh yeah, they should do a WrestleMania weekend. They can't even do 25,000 people at fucking All In Wembley in the UK. Why the fuck would there be 50 to 70,000 excess pro wrestling fans in any city in America when WrestleMania is not there? And they don't even do a show called All In because people are like, well, it shouldn't be called All In. Well, then what is it? You got to do All In. If it's not All In, then what the fuck? People are going to be like, what the fuck? That's supposed to be your WrestleMania like level show. So it's craziness. But like, why would you pay an arm and a leg to go see this shit when you can just like go to your local indie and see MJF wrestle Bobby Orlando? So, however, it was confirmed MJF still does intend to wrestle for Beyond once he's physically able to. And they wish him a speedy recovery. So, MJF making the rounds with the AEW title. Pretty crazy. And so, MJF had this to say. And Awful Wrestling caught some fucking strays. AEW Awful Wrestling caught some fucking strays here from NoDQ.com, who used his account as an example. And so MJF says, you're the fucking worst, bud, if you are actively rooting against AEW existing. So it's existence. So I guess I'm not the fucking worst. I told you guys, I'm straight up lovable. Phil Marks is straight up lovable, son.
Wrestling's not fake!
And I told you guys. I told you motherfuckers. Okay, I don't want AEW to die. So MJF thinks I rule. That's awesome. So he says AEW matters not just because it exists, but because of how it exists, bud. Listen, if you Google me, I think it says I'm 5'11", but we all know that's horseshit. I'm like 5'8", guys. Oh shit. Look at this short king standing up, pulling an opposite of Joe Rogan, right? The UFC games have Joe Rogan at like 5'7", but everybody knows that he's 4'4". Okay.
Allegedly.
And so, and he goes, and this is a place where, simply put, a 5'8" Jew can be world champ, bud. If you know wrestling history, then you know that's a big deal and why. And while I welcome anyone being critical of AEW, God knows I am, if you're actually actively rooting against us, bud, against us existing, guess what, bud? You're the fucking worst. You're rooting against workers, and that's the truth. Yeah, I mean, and I guess, yeah, AEW Awful Wrestling has said, like, he wants, or he had predicted that the shit would go out of business in 27. Now, it might not go out of business, but it'll end up on YouTube and my AEW and shit come 27 possibly, which is a real possibility. So he wasn't far off. And I just don't think AEW would ever not exist. I've always said that. Like, it will exist in some form or fashion. Now, yes, I want there, I've said this a billion times, I want there to be more and more wrestling feds that are like able to compete with WWE and shit. I'm very realistic about AEW's ability and Tony Khan's competence to book well, be creative, and also compete. So I would say there's many more AEW sickos, though. And I get it from both ends, dude. Pause. I get it from fucking wackos and sickos all the time. But I think there are many more sickos who are actively like, the Fed needs to die, man. Like Tony Khan thinks that and shit. That's the problem. Whereas WWE, I just don't think they give a fuck about AEW as much as Vince would be like, we need to put them out of business, pal. WWE's more like, I think Triple H and Shawn are just like, whatever, they're small fries and we'll just fuck with them and take their guys. And it's good they exist because some of our guys can go get more money there and come home when they're fucking ready. So I don't know, man. It's funny that NoDQ.com, though, put Awful Wrestling in this motherfucker as the example. So MJF going off here lately. Wrestling Chico for 2. Sweet. We're at 5 super chats, guys. 5 more super chats, any color of super chat. 5 more super chats, and we'll also do a sicko segment, actually more like a wacko segment tonight. You guys know what I'm saying? And so shout out Wrestling Chico for 2. Sweet. He says, run the likes up. I want a sicko segment. PWT rules, Chico. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get to 10 super chats. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit retweet if you haven't, or become a member. You can gift a membership, or just, yeah, like I said, retweet, hit the heart, all that good shit. Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate you guys. AEW's in the same position TNA was in at the end of the 2000s. They have the ultimate roster, and fans think they can beat WWE, but they're never going to do it. I'm more interested in talking about video games than MJF. I started watching that Michael Jackson doc on Netflix. I started watching that, guys. Speaking of crazy famous people, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jericho.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild! Yay!
We continue along. So we have some more roster news here, and Andrade El Idolo took to social media to answer some fan questions, and he makes it clear that he isn't interested in another run with WWE. So somebody asks him, do you miss WWE and would you go back for a match? And he says, no, not even for a match, dude. And Andrade says, but I would definitely like to wrestle Rey Mysterio and Carmelo again. So there you go. But he likes macking on honeys over there in AEW, and they've been booking him well. It's funny though, because just to lay out a timeline here of Andrade. So he went to WWE, was in NXT, booked tremendously. Then Vince and the whole Triple H stuff went down, and Andrade was one of the dudes who went over to AEW before he spent too much time on the main roster. And Vince didn't really know how to book him as good as Triple H, right? And so Andrade was awesome in NXT. He went to the main roster. He was floundering, and then the rumors were, and other luchas who were in AEW that were friends with him talked about how Andrade told people, hey, it's not all as it's cracked out to be over here. Cracked out as it's cracked up to be. You know, things aren't really what people hype it up to be over here in WWE, even though it was a dream of his to make it there eventually. And he did meet Charlotte Flair. And if you guys remember Andrade, that's when he trademarked Andrade El Idolo, and Charlotte Flair also trademarked Ashley Flair and some other names in case she left WWE. And she owns those, I think, to this day. I don't think she ever relinquished them. And it's good she did that just in case she ever had to leave. And especially with that landscape at the time, you know, people didn't know what was going on with Vince and things were sketchy. And Andrade goes to AEW, and then he ends up like smacking motherfuckers and being misused or being categorized as a guy like Miro and Aleister Black. And I know that people want to do like revisionist history and not lump Andrade in there, but Dave did. Dave and other dirt sheets and other folks would talk about like Andrade, Miro, and Black should all leave AEW. They don't even want to fight, and they all ended up leaving AEW. But they don't even want to be there. They don't even want to be in AEW. They want to be in WWE. They won't lose to people and whatever, right? And Andrade was a dude who, again, maybe wasn't as much on the side of he doesn't want to lose, but he was a guy that they're like, what's kind of going on with his booking? He like inherited the Hardy family or whatever the fuck. Because remember, before there was the Callis family, there was like the Matt Hardy conglomerate or whatever, and then Andrade like bought the group from Matt Hardy or some stupid shit. And so basically what happened was Andrade, rumors floating around, rumors and innuendos that he was like, AEW ain't all that it's cracked up to be. So WWE ain't all that great, and he wants out, and then he goes to AEW, then he's like, this ain't all that great, and I want out. Then he wants to go be with his wife. So he goes back to WWE. And then motherfuckers no-showing shows, and motherfuckers taking off to South America, and him and Charlotte, obviously they get a divorce. He's taking off, he's partying, he's no-showing, he's showing up fucking allegedly, right? On fucking allegedly. Travis Scott time. And he's all fucking turned up and lit out of his mind and backstage allegedly, okay? And he fucked Ray Phoenix over a little bit, and then he gets fucking released, and then he goes to AEW, shows up, gloms Kenny Omega, and then turns out he legally wasn't allowed to do that, blah blah blah. But now he's saying, no, I don't want to go back to WWE. So it's just crazy how he was in WWE. It's not all that great here. Goes to AEW, it's not all that great here. Goes to WWE, doesn't want to fucking work, or maybe doesn't like his booking, but he's just no showing when he is booked and fucking, you know, doing his thing. And then he shows up to AEW and now everything's great and he wouldn't go back to WWE. It's just craziness with this guy. So as much as I like Andrade, he's got a great look. I've been a fan of him. I like, he doesn't have shitty matches. It's not like he's showing up and he's fucking stumbling around like low. What's the opposite of peak? You know, fucking the lowest of, you know, Scott Hall or one of these guys, you know. he's out there doing the damn thing, but this guy just somehow can get a job everywhere while not being afraid to burn the bridges and shit. I guess he's professional enough to where everyone's like, no, because even WWE was like, no, I mean, if he's cleaned up, he's welcome here and shit. He's just not showing up to work and shit. So I don't know. Shout out Andrade. He's doing the damn thing. But again, he's just sort of everyone was like, oh, he's in the world title contention. And Dave's like, oh my God, they're booking all these title challengers and Andrade's the greatest thing I've ever seen, Brian. And then now he's just kind of floundering again a little bit. Like he just does the spot with a fucking plant in the crowd, which is all good, but he's just kind of floating and not really doing anything. So hopefully he gets in the mix again. But he ain't interested in going back to the evil Fed. So speaking of people who think the Fed is evil, Will Ospreay is one of the copingest fucking sickos of all time. Like, this guy's so butthurt. Truly, he is so bumhurt over WWE and the whole, like, you don't embrace the grind, bro. Right? You need to embrace the grind. Here in WWE, Triple H says that Ospreay melts down. He keeps cutting promos about it. He keeps talking about it. He goes to like the mystery rumble or whatever, and there's a guy cosplaying Triple H, and he beats him up, and then he brings it up in Chris Van Vliet, and then he goes on this podcast that gets not even 100 fucking views, and he talks about WWE, and it goes viral, and we've covered this over the last 12 months or so. Okay, these are all the instances. That's just a quick recap, okay? I can't get into depth with all of them, but there's been so many instances of him just coping about the Fed. And this is another one, okay? And he hurt his neck. He comes back he rushes a neck fusion return. He doesn't fucking look all swole. He just rests on his laurels. He's just flipping to the outside. He's tied up with the Death Riders. Nobody gives a fuck about anything he's doing. He's the worst booked guy since his return in AEW, bar none. He's like the least interesting, lamest thing going on in the show. I heard a rumor, it could just be allegedly, again, I'm not a dirt sheet, that he has actually expressed concern about this too, backstage. Okay? That he said himself that the online reception has just not been that great, and this is a really terrible way to get him to main event fucking All In. And again, it's Moxley just getting nobody over. Like, oh yeah, Ospreay ain't shit till I trained him to be lethal. Then he could beat MJF or beat Omega at All In. And that's what it's going to be. Mox's going to be like, I fought Kenny many times. Here's how you reverse his shit. Scooby-Doo, wah, wah, wah. Here's how you be cool, man. And so let's take a listen to this podcast. I don't even know what the fuck pod it is, but shout these fellas out. And they go off on El Grande Americano and how it will be, that moment will be more remembered than all the matches from Will Ospreay that he's ever had in his career. And so, again, there's something in AEW that makes people goofy and like their cognitive dissonance goes up and they just get in their bubble and they can't like be objective about anything. And they just speak these anecdotes like, I don't know. It's like so Ospreay responds. Let's listen to this clip first. Sorry, Ciampa's talking. Let's listen to this clip and then we'll read what Ace Humphreys has to say. And then Ospreay responds to this and is like, bruv, and is just coping about the silliest shit you guys have ever heard.
Will Ospreay.
And I'm just going to be honest. Like, Ospreay could have, this is why he's beating himself up, is because he took the money from Tone and the long-term deal and the freedom and the availability to go to the UK and fucking work whenever he wants and make his own schedule and do whatever he wants creatively with no checks and balances, right? And instead of betting on himself and maybe taking less money, having to embrace the grind, having to make it in WWE and rise to the occasion, right? he chose like, yeah, let them roll the red carpet out and give me all the money. I'm due all of this stuff for my work outside of AEW. That's what Tony thinks. Whereas in WWE, you know, they want to reward those who've been in their system for a long time as much as they want to surprise people and, you know, have a Cody Rhodes come over from the other company and whatever. But he did put his time in WWE. But, you know, look at how they're building up a Danhausen or a Hobbs. It's not everything all at once, right? You got to kind of earn your keep a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But, and here's the thing too, people say like, well, in sports, if you like sign Austin Matthews to your team, you'd put him on the starting line. Yeah, but here's the thing, like that's real sports. So WWE's not entirely a real sport. There's a level of like, you know, you're new on this show. I know you're popular, but you're going to start at series regular numbers until next season, and then you can renegotiate type shit, right? Like, however, whatever. You guys get the point I'm making. Let's listen to these guys here from Wrestling Republic. Shout them out.
Will Ospreay, in my opinion, is the best wrestler in the world. But that match, El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, mask versus mask, that match will be remembered in the history books more than any match that
in the history books. You mean books, bro. Speak English. No, I'm joking. Bruv.
Will Ospreay has ever had. And
no, shout out everyone in the fucking UK. You guys know I love doing your accents.
Reason being,
very poorly,
is that was a moment in history. Will Ospreay in.
And so basically, while I'm roasting this buddy, I'm not one to talk, dude. I got a fucking Canadian accent there, buddy. All about it, buddy. Can I finish, please? Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished. So basically, this guy's saying El Grande, that mask moment, Gable and El Grande, that will go down in history over all of Will Ospreay's matches. Now, again, I don't know why you got to like drag Will Ospreay into this shit. And this is a 30-second clip. Like, I don't know if they were just having a discussion about like what matters in wrestling and moments and stuff. And it's okay to draw from other companies and go, this is the difference. Like, yo, this mask versus mask is why a guy like Will Ospreay may never be fucking remembered in the annals of blah, 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 right? But Will Ospreay responded to this. Well, Ace Humphrey says, did make me laugh, and it is a big hot take in 26 so far in all of wrestling. El Grande Americano mask will be remembered more than all the matches from Will Ospreay's ever had in his career. And it will. It will. So there's a whole gen of people who weren't around in the 10 years ago era where everyone was sharing Twitter clips of New Japan and fucking Ospreay and Ricochet doing their flip match that everybody fucking loved, which at the time, myself included, I was like, holy fuck, this is crazy. Like, the shit these guys are doing is crazy. Now, can you do it all the time? No. But did they pull that off and it was fucking insane? Yes. Did I like it? Yes. Did Jim Cornette hate it? Yes. Are we both valid in our opinions? Yes. Okay. So Will Ospreay had this to say. Yet 10 years later, bruv, and people still talk about the Ricochet match, bruv. See, they're all stuck 10 years ago. And I've said this so many times. 10 years ago, New Japan was fucking peak. I get it, but I still get tagged in the Ibushi Rana spot, bruv. In the Ibushi Rana spot. So again, chat, I would say we're pretty even-keeled wrestling fans. I know a lot of you weren't like checking out Nuge 10 years ago. Tell me if you guys know any of these. How many of you guys know any of these spots? And how many of you, let's not even do mask versus mask, let's say the beads, the Drew McIntyre beads with CM Punk. Okay? What's more memorable? Let me know in chat right now. Everybody give me an answer. What's more memorable? The beads? The bead spot? Or any of these things that Ospreay's about to fucking lay out here? Him versus Ricochet. What? The Ibushi Rana spot. Now, I think that's the one where the Ibushi Rana spot. He says it like anyone knows what the fuck that is. Whoa. Imagine the level of cope you have to go, the Ibushi Rana spot. So I'm going to type in Will Ospreay. I'm just going to type in Ibushi Rana spot. And he's like, I still get tagged in it. Yeah, guess who else gets tagged in stuff? Heidenreich. He didn't even have to have a Twitter buddy. Okay, so let's look this up. So this is on Reddit, I guess. So let's take a look here. We're going to travel to the sickoest fucking place of all time, and it is called Reddit, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And I will check in with chat. Let me get through this segment. So we head to Reddit, okay? And so this person here, Wheezy, New Japan Wrestling fan. 2 years ago today, we saw one of the most awesome moments ever as Will Ospreay front flipped out of... So look at this shit. Oh, this is what he's talking about. Where he front flip lands out of the fucking... Here's the thing, though. Well, let's just play it. This isn't as cool, though. Ricochet did the front flip over the top to the floor, and that just fucking buried any, like, front flip. Okay, yeah, I do remember this spot now. You had to bring it up to me, though. Personally, now maybe like hardcore Nuge fans, but again, like Ospreay can't tell the difference between, and here's the thing, like he can't tell the difference between like mass global appeal and then like, oh yeah, in Japan, and then like hardcore wrestling fans in the States remember that shit for sure. Like 10 years ago, for sure, that was a poppin' spot. But here's the thing, like I get called an e-drone, stupid bitch, retard in my Twitter every fucking day, right? So just because you get tagged in shit, am I a dumb coward bitch retard or whatever? Like people say underneath my tweets when I post my videos and shit. Ospreay. So it's like, whatever, dude. Like people are tagging you in that shit from 10 years ago to this day. Is it like one tag a day? We're talking about impact on fucking the pro wrestling landscape. There's moments like Foley off the cell, and there's moments that the whole world, like Hogan slamming Andre, fucking the mask versus mask was a moment that I just think it was beyond just Mexico. And it's not about thinking the Americas are the center of the universe and the world, right? It's about like the impact overall on wrestling. Again, this is like the Ricky Dozan fucking Hulk Hogan thing, and maybe people are just split on this, but I think there is a level of objectivity of, did 1.3 million people or whatever the fuck it was after the first 12 hours tune in to that match? And maybe it was more. Maybe someone will felt me and go, well, yes, Phil, in Japan, 63 million people watched this one channel or whatever that it was on. Okay, then I don't know. I'll fucking take what I said back, but I just think this is uber cope. And this is only the first spot that he's talking about. First British person to ever win the IWGP title. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with the mask versus mask thing? Okay, that's like me going, well, Ludwig is the first German guy to pretend to be a Mexican and
He had
over.
Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
You know what I'm saying? So other people have done that same spot and shit. Had Assassin's Creed, listen to this shit. Had Assassin's Creed rehire Ezio Auditore to narrate me to Wembley. Buddy, I'm sorry.
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
Fuck, bud. Oh my God. That's actually crazy. That's crazy. Had Assassin's Creed rehire Ezio to narrate me to Wembley. Oh my God. You
just made the list.
Holy shit, man. So he's just really coping. And then what else does he says? And if you can't remember any of the matches, it's because people barely remember what happened last week, let alone 14 years of consistent. So again, you just explained it, Ospreay, but you're like in a weirdo bubble talking about anecdotes here. This is the problem, right, bruv? I'm your bruv, okay? Phil's your bruv. You're my bruv, Will. Phil and Will, okay? It's a sitcom. Listen, bruv. It's a sitcom about where you say dumb shit and then I correct it, and then I do like the Debbie Downer face at the camera, right? Whenever you make a silly mistake, and we wear costumes and sneak into movie theaters and all sorts of fun things, okay? But listen, here's the first thing that you're getting wrong, buddy. People will remember the Mask versus Mask in 14 years.
Wrestling's not fake!
The way we remember, again, Mankind falling off the cell, that's what they're pointing out. That's what these guys are pointing out. And you just said it. If people don't remember it, it's because nobody remembers shit. No, they don't remember your shit because it's all the fucking same. And people have tried to point that out. And even though that one spot couldn't be replicated or duplicated in another match, you've done similar spots. Other people have done similar spots. And that's exactly it. Everybody who goes, man, do you remember when Ospreay flipped out of the Rana? They all not only will remember the Mask versus Mask, but they'll remember that they all know about Hogan slamming Andre. If you say Hogan slammed Andre, they all at least know about it. They all know that Mankind fell off the fucking cell. Right? I keep going to these examples. I'm sure there's more. Many more. And that, like, they remember Hogan turning heel or whatever, the Scott Hall interrupting. They all know about that, and they know your shit. But everyone who knows about the fucking Mask versus Mask, they don't know about your goddamn matches, dude. They don't know about the Ibushi Rana. And like Lex doesn't.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? So he says, 14 years of consistently being on top of my field without ever being promoted by anything from the Fed. Look, he even says the Fed. Oh my God, bro. I've never been promoted anything by the Fed. Yeah, and the only reason you make the money you're making from Tone is because he's just an uber sicko mark. It's not because you did shit outside of the Fed. And it is, well, no, okay. Let me take that back. He did do shit outside of the Fed. That's like, okay, outside of the Fed, you got to keep your eyes on this. The Fed might want to hire this guy. He has the potential. Sky's the limit. He has the potential to be the top guy in the Fed, possibly one day. Maybe. You never know. You never know. All I'm saying is this. It's not like Will Ospreay went and like drew a fucking house the way Rhodes was like, I'll take that bet, and fucking was drawing everywhere on the indies and then created All In saying, I'll take that bet. And then they exceeded what Dave Meltzer, they just felted Meltzer, the original All In, the best AEW show, if you want to consider it that. They own the rights to it, I think. So it's the best AEW show of all time, was the very first one they put on. And, it's not like you did anything like that, dude. You know, like New Japan was in somewhat of a lull. Tone gutted everybody. And whatever they drew, it's not like just because of Will Ospreay. You know, Tanahashi was there. Dave will tell you. Post Tanahashi, they never built any stars. Everyone's just burying this new generation too of New Japan guys, unless they're trying to create a narrative that like, well, AEW made these guys. But that's the thing, Ospreay, is that you never did anything where it was like, holy fuck. Like even Kenny, you could argue, Kenny Omega and Okada sold a fucking Tokyo Dome and shit. You know, I don't know if you could make that same argument. And that's not just me saying it. That's the other people who call New Japan the Fed. That's the dirt sheet writers who you fucking love, who glaze you, but also say Nuge didn't make any fucking stars. So I think there's just a lot of cope going on here. But Ospreay says Mask versus Mask was fucking awesome. Won't take anything away from it, but I'm in my own lane, never trying to compete with anyone but myself. Maybe that's a problem. And then he says, but continue the conversation. I'll keep myself busy making towns. No, you don't get to say all of this cope, right? And write like a fucking, if you squish this all together, it's like 2 paragraphs of text, give or take. Right? You don't get to write 2 paragraphs and then go, but continue the conversation. I'll keep myself busy making towns. No, you don't get to do that. Like, you're the one bringing up all of this shit about this conversation and coping about it. You know, you could have just ignored this.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
Thank you for being so patient, guys. We are 4 super chats away from the goal. If we nail it, we will also do, I'll throw in a sicko segment, actually a wacko segment tonight that I have planned out. And it's more focusing on WWE fans, actually. If we get to it tonight, we're almost there. And thank you for being patient. I had to get through that bit. I appreciate it. I'm back for 5. Says, have you seen Wrestling Revolution for PS5? Yes. Dude, thank you for bringing this up, because I didn't even bookmark it at all, because I was like, is that what, you know, like, do I bookmark this? Is this a sicko wacko thing? Let me see. Let me just pull it up right now. You know, we'll just do like a little side segment here. We got a couple more things here in AEW news. So for those of you unaware, I can't even find the picture. If someone maybe tags me on it on X, but for those of you unaware, there's a game from a guy called M. Dickey. Now, M. Dickey made Wrestling Revolution 2D, I think maybe 3D, Wrestling Empire. It's one of the best wrestling games, bar none, and you can literally download it. It got ported to like Switch, I'm pretty sure. Nintendo picked up on it and made it for their console or whatever. But guys, you can play it on mobile and like on your iPhone, and it works so goddamn good. And it even works offline as well. So let's say you're trying to save data, but you're like fucking traveling or something, and you want to play a game, and you're, you know, or you're out of Wi-Fi or whatever the fuck, you run out of data. You know, you can always throw this on and stay entertained, and it's fully customizable. And M. Dickey created this game called Wrestling Revolution. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. And to me, it's the true continuation of like the Aki N64 games. And not only that, there's like a booking sim. Not even a booking sim, like you can play the matches, but there's like a booker mode that's better than any other booker mode. Like WWE 2K should hire this guy to oversee how you do a fucking universe mixed with booker mode. And like you battle for who has the better shows and ticket sales in different countries and all, and different regions and stuff. It's so fucking fun. It is the best, one of the best goddamn wrestling games out there. Shout out M. Dickey, okay? Who's shown PWT love before, by the way, and behind the scenes was like, I don't really do shows, but if I do them again, I will do PWT. He told that to me it was a while ago, but shout out M. Dickey, okay? And I fucking love all of his games. He has other games too that fucking rule. Sorry, we're going off on a tangent, but so he has this game called Wrestling Revolution, right? And Wrestling Empire, whatever. And what happened was somebody, and hopefully somebody tags me at Pro Wrestle Times. If you have the image, I'm back, tag me on X, or I'll try and find it. But somebody, and again, this is another thing sort of plaguing PlayStation right now. PlayStation in the mud. Xbox for life, Chico. Like I told you, motherfuckers, Xbox is the shit. Sorry, I got excited there. Xbox is the shit, and their new CEO has been like making Game Pass cheaper, hooking up fucking tons of games on Ultimate and shit. Obviously, they've always done that, but like, you know, she's been making moves. She's been making Xbox better, whereas PlayStation has gotten to the point where like there's YouTubers with millions of views who make videos like, I'm just gonna download, because PlayStation lets you, like, anyone upload any fucking game. Any game, like any random, we could make a PWT game and upload it to the shit and make it like, there's like scam games and shit. We could make it like the worst game ever and upload it, and anybody can get anything by on PlayStation Store. Whereas I think Microsoft's a little more strict. Whatever. I'm taking a long way around to get to the point that some random person made a Wrestling Revolution game, and it's called Wrestling Revolution. Okay. And that's a ripoff of M. Dickey, by the way. M. Dickey gonna sue somebody. And the image that the guy used is like blatantly ripping off Solo Sikoa's likeness as well. It's super funny and it looks hilarious. So, sorry, to get to the rest of the super chat, Wrestling Revolution for PS5. Yeah, and that's just it. It got through on PS5. Like, ain't no way if I go on the Microsoft store that shit'll be on there. The game is going to be sued into the ground. Sued into oblivion, bro. The cover character shows WWE turnbuckles. They use Solo. So it uses WWE's turnbuckles as well. This is what I mean, dude. It's the ultimate fuck up. It's so funny, though. It's actually so funny. Let me see, though. We got to check out if I can find this image. Solo Sikoa. Maybe if I use that, because I looked Wrestling Revolution and like nothing came up of the sort. If I type in Solo Sikoa likeness, I want to show you guys this. It's so funny. No, it's not coming up. I don't know. If someone sees it, tag me on Twitter. And yeah, it's just a blatant ripoff. It looks so goddamn funny that somebody did this too. But it's just one of those games, like anybody can upload it to PlayStation. I don't know. Everybody's mad about the new God of War. Everybody's mad at a lot of the stuff PlayStation's done with some of their like main, like, I guess, what do you want to call it? Like franchise games, you know? Search Wrestling Revolution PS5. Oh, yeah, you're right. Hey, that's the way to do it as well. I could just look it up because it'll be like on the, I bet you it's on Steam and shit too. You can find fucking anything. Wrestling Revolution PS5. I want to show you guys this. It's just such a bad knockoff. No, I don't know. It ain't coming up. Ooh, somebody made a really good Jamie Noble for 2K, though. Oh my God, it's coming up in Google searches, dude. Like immediately. So a lot of people must be looking this up. Yeah, so here, let's go on to fucking PlayStation here. So this is a detour. This is just us making fun of a video game here for a second because that lovely super chat. Let's get 4 more super chats in and let's do a sicko segment tonight. So here. Let's share this screen. So yeah, Solo, just knock off. Just even faker bloodline. Like they just straight ripped the fucking tribal chief stuff. Oh my God. Maverick. Stealing low. Here's a rip-off Alex Shelley. Like legit. That's a rip-off Alex Shelley. They have rip-off La Parka. They have Dexter Loomis here with pink hair. Right? They have Kevin Owens, fake Kevin Owens. Kevin Fowens. Am I right, fellas? The title looks like a UFC title. This looks lame as shit. It's in a boxing ring, too. So what the fuck is that? Talk about an epic fail, man. That's so funny. Shout out PlayStation, though, for allowing that junk.
You fucked up! You fucked up! You fucked up!
Okay. So thank you, for that, bringing that up. That's funny. So let's move along here. Speaking of funny stuff, the Butcher and the Blade are free agents after their AEW contracts have expired now. We have covered this here at PWT. The Butcher in particular, he got healthy and then he was tweeting out basically begging to be on TV. He's like, hey, I'm healthy, I'm good. Me and the Blade are good. We can whatever. The Bunny left AEW. The Blade is wrestling, I think, in like Maple Leaf Pro and GCW and shit more. If I'm not mistaken, I think GCW, right? And then Maple Leaf Pro for sure. And yeah, man, they let go of the Butcher and the Blade. And I put out a tweet saying, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but that's a fucking fumble. That's a Tony Khan fumble. And the reason being is because, say what you will, but they have a fucking look. Let me just read my actual tweet. I think I have it right here. Yeah. So I tweeted out, what a fumble. I know many disagree with me, but I think they had a look and could have been way more prominent as heels than they were. And I've always thought that. And their debut got a pop as well. If you remember, they came through the ring and a lot of people shit on it, but it was unique. It was different. And they had a fucking look and they just were never like the main heaters to whatever guy. So is this a massive like, oh man, they would have changed the landscape of pro wrestling in AEW? No, but is this a fumble as far as like, what the fuck are you doing with your tag and trios division that you couldn't have made these motherfuckers work on your goddamn show? They have a great look. Now, what I think they should do is go to MLW. I think the presentation, the way they could take the transmission, like the way MLW Fusion, the aesthetic is like, and the sounds and everything is like, it's like a transmission, like this underground transmission wrestling show that we're sending out to the world. They could like hijack it, not Contra style, but when you do their vignettes, it could all be in black and white and they could be doing their steampunk thing. And like, maybe that's a little Tony Stormish, but whatever, you just fit it into the show. It fits the theme of the show. And they could do their whole like Butcher and Blade OG. Like he's wearing a fucking, he's looking like, Mr. Satan here with his bandana on before the world tournament. You know what I mean? Like that's what fucking Butcher's looking like here. And they just want to wrestle, man. And they're good to get booked and their contracts are not renewed. I think they should go to, someone said, I think I saw in the reply, somebody said NWA. Maybe. I don't really know what they have going on there. But I think with the Skyscrapers and the Good Brothers, and then you add the Butcher and the Blade in the mix, that would be the perfect landing spot. Obviously TNA, right? But you have the Righteous and the Hardy Boys. And yeah, maybe Butcher and Blade could fit in there for sure. But again, you don't want to just like hackishly say everyone should go to TNA. So I think MLW, just after watching the last couple weeks, I think they would be presented really cool and they would fit in with this tag division. And let's say Corbin is going, then hell, maybe Dijak moves on to single shit and he debuts these guys as his fucking new backup and they're in the tag division fighting the Good Brothers for him while he goes on and does some single shit. Something like that. Who knows? Because I think the Good Brothers eventually get those tag titles, but and who knows if Corbin's going to WWE or not, but I digress. Shout out Butcher and Blade. I've always liked them. I always thought they were good wrestlers, and I've always thought they had a good look. And it is a fumble when people are like, "That's not a fumble." No, it is, because who's the fucking main like mid card team? It's just Bucks, FTR, Cage, and Cope. Okay, so you mean to tell me? And they lost the Lucha Bros. Jurassic Express don't really fucking team together anymore. You mean to tell me that, okay, you could get the Rascals in the mix, but they're not doing that, you know? So you mean to tell me these two guys couldn't be like the heel team that everybody fought through, or you fight through on your way to the top, or looming around the titles, or get the titles and hold them, and there's some fucking storyline where I don't know, man. Even the Bunny being with them, I thought was always a good thing. but they just never capitalized on it. So it's a fumble. It's not like a fumble as far as like, oh, the whole game would have changed, but it's a fumble as far as like, well, you had this tag division and you had LAX, right? You had Santana and Ortiz. They got in a fight. They're not even friends. Look at Santana now. So you fucked that up. You fucked the Lucha Bros up. You fucked up, you know, like how many fucking teams got to get fucked up? Yes, FTR and Bucks, we know, and Cage and Cope. You fucked up the Briscoe brothers because you were a goddamn liar and a coward, Tone, and you didn't fucking bring them on TV. And then you lied about how you would have brought them on fucking TV because you're tight with WB, but then fucking you released Trey Miguel. Okay, so we ain't having none of that shit. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Tony Khan, it is time for Steamboat motherfucking Tone. Get ready.
It's great.
It's time for the best guy is Tony Khan, who is in fact Tony Khan and Steamboat Tone. So Tone hasn't been going live recently in the last little while here, but he's back, and this time he's in the small gymnasium setting up for the science fair this week. And here is Tone. He's got a nice haircut. Okay, he's been shaped up a little bit, and he's happy. He looks, I don't know, he looks like he's stoned. He looks like he just smoked a fatty or something. But here we go. He's back, and he's so excited. He just can't hide it. And he dropped a 7-minute and 43-second fucking live to 11.2K views. And this was before I came on the air for Collision to hype up this Collision. A fucking 8-minute long video, essentially. So let's get into this. Shout out Steamboat Tone. And again, he's setting up for the science fair. He may even actually reveal something behind him. He likes showing things off. And let's get into this here.
It's great to see you. I hope that you're...
It's great to see you. Really? Because it doesn't sound like you're that excited or enthused to see us, Tone.
And a wonderful Saturday night. We're about to go live from coast to coast a few hours from now on Saturday night Collision. We're coming off an amazing Wednesday night Dynamite. We just had a fantastic show on Wednesday. And I also thought we had a great Collision last Saturday, coast to coast, just like last week. I'm excited for tonight's show. We've had a bit of a crazy travel day. Some of my favorite wrestlers are unfortunately...
We had a crazy travel day. Some of our favorite wrestlers are actually unable to travel here. No, Tone, you booked the card last minute. You called Dave on your way out the hotel, and you fucking are only booking who's in town because that's what you always do. And then it results in this shit where people go, there are stories. It is good booking. It's impossible. It's impossible. This is why Vince's booking wasn't good, especially not good, right? Because everybody was there and were forced to be there, but then he just used people and threw out shit last second and rewrote it last second. This is why Tone's booking is bad, okay? He does it all last second, and he doesn't even know because of that, him doing it last second, which is something he could easily fix if he had an ounce of creativity or knew what the fuck he was doing or had competent people around him. And then he could tell people who needs to be in town 3-4 weeks out or whatever the fuck, or a week before, even if it's a week before, a few days before. What are you doing in AEW? You're on vacation. You work once a week, if that. Okay? So Tone could easily remedy this shit. He fucking doesn't, and that makes him a bad booker because everything's last second. It's the same thing with Vince, just a different way of getting to the last second booking. We should be able to criticize it all the same, but for some reason, Tone, that's never allowed to be criticized for, that criticism isn't allowed to exist, I guess.
He's stuck south of the border. It was a great Arena Mexico show last night. I was really hoping to have some of the top luchadors with Commander and Beast Mortos back in AEW by now.
Wait, did he almost call them some of the top luchadors?
He did last night in Arena Mexico. I was hoping they would be back here, but I'll get back to that later. Speaking of the top action in CMLL,
I'll get back to that later. Is this a podcast, Tone? Is this going up on your RSS feed? Why would it be get back to this later?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it right now. It's a fucking live. This isn't for, like, if he filmed this and then edited it, then put it at the front of the TV show or something, okay, but he's not doing that. So what is the fuck? Why the fuck are you doing this? Be human.
MLL Women's World Champion, one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, Persephone, is here tonight. And Persephone is here competing in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament against a woman who made her AEW debut last week on Collision in a very impressive match, Hazuki. I'm very excited about the Owen Hart Foundation match, Persephone versus Hazuki on AEW.
Versus Hazuki. Who watching this knows who the fuck that is? Get an editor, Tone. Hire me, and I'll quickly edit it with some footage and shit of Hazuki. And I'll put some cool music behind it, and then it'll say, and then we'll let people kind of know. And then what you do is say, and Hazuki, you might not know her. She's amazing. She's done this, this, and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm excited to have her in the Owen leading up to Forbidden Door. You're going to see lots of crossover matches here in AEW. I'm so excited. We'll see you guys tonight. That's it. Cut. Do another 1-minute video about the next thing you're all hype about. And do these way earlier than an hour before and get them floating around the algorithm and on the socials a little bit there, bud, throughout the day. You could have done these yesterday, but you fucking you didn't book this shit till tonight. Hazuki.
Collision tonight. It's going to be an awesome Owen Hart Foundation match, and we're really excited to have two of the top
Hazuki Machu Picchu. Hazuki just reminds me of, and the little chant I'm doing, have you guys seen Scooby-Doo, the live action movie, the first one? And it's like all the people are possessed. And then they're like underground and they're all like Hazuki, Machu Picchu, Hazuki, and they're doing that chant, right? That's what that reminds me of. Sorry.
Competing. Of course, I mentioned it was a great Wednesday Night Dynamite. We saw the return of Mercedes Moné as the wild card. Great to have Mercedes back in AEW. Mercedes made her return, defeating Alex Windsor, a measure of payback for Mercedes Moné. And we saw Mercedes, after that great match Wednesday, make off with the Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament belt. Of course, she is the defending champion. Mercedes will closely be watching tonight on Saturday Collision, Persephone versus Hazuki in the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. I'm very excited for this match. And I'm also very excited about the Women's World.
He seems so excited for it, doesn't he?
Tag Team Championship match with TJ versus the Divine Dominion. I mentioned I thought it was a great Collision last Saturday.
With TJ. Tay Conti and Anna J.
Hazuki versus Maya World was an awesome match with Persephone on commentary. Also, I really enjoyed the Divine Dominion versus TJ. And that was a match with a 5-minute time limit where TJ battered the champions. And we saw them not only be the first people to last the 5 minutes with the Divine Dominion, but TJ really took it to the champs. So tonight, it'll be a World Tag Team Championship match. TJ versus the Divine Dominion on Collision. And we have so much more in store for you. TNT could easily refer to tags and trios because we've got...
Oh my God, dude. He's so fucking... Oh! So that's a cut, okay? One video. I'm so fucking excited. Mercedes Moné is back after a long-awaited return to AEW. She grabbed that Owen Hart title. She is the defending champion. She's in action tonight. And also, the Divine Dominion taking on TJ, who lasted 5 minutes and earned a shot at their titles. I can't wait. Boom. That's 30 seconds and actually excitable, Tone. Jesus Christ.
Tag team title on the line with TJ versus Divine Dominion.
Who would sit here and listen to this besides me because I'm fucking super mentally sick and love abuse, you know?
Also have the World Trios champions in the house. The conglomeration, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Smashed your knee to a
They were very impressive last week on Collision. Very impressive. It was the previous week we saw Orange Cassidy compete on TBS in the Superstation.
What would this matter to anybody? Why would anybody need this information, Tone? Why would anybody need this information? Why would anybody need to know that on TBS they fought last week? Whoa.
Showcase, which I announced with our good friends on Warner Brothers Discovery on AEW Advance on TikTok. I enjoy making these kinds of appearances on the network's channel on AEW Advance, but here I'm back on X today, but we'll be having another AEW Advance very soon.
Here I'm back on X. We know, motherfucker.
Now, I mentioned it's been a crazy travel day. Roosh of
when? 4 minutes ago, bud?
LFI picked up a great win in the Superstation Showcase a couple weeks ago, and Roosh competed in a great world title fight. Orange Cassidy was also in the Superstation Showcase, and while he didn't factor into the final pin in the match, he did compete against Roosh of the LFI, who picked up a great win.
It's just too much info. Well, he didn't factor into the pin. He did. That's all supposed to be the TV show. The show's supposed to be all the stuff Tone makes up in his head. And then because he tells it to Dave and the reasoning to Meltzer, and Meltzer's watching this for sure. Meltzer watches, he's oiled up watching everything Tone does. Like a proud fucking sick uncle. Like a proud fucking weirdo that was message boarding with this kid since he was fucking 13, and it's some weird fucking shit that I don't even want to think about. But you know, Dave just fucking loves. He's EFAPing this video too, but in a whole different way. His EFAP means a whole different thing than what every frame of pause, which what we're doing, right? And so, you know, Dave knows this shit, so he's like, oh yeah, the storylines are great and shit. And like, I'm sure 11K sickos are listening to this, but this is supposed to be like stuff that the wrestlers are conveying on the show, right? The wrestlers are like, yeah, well, you got pinned, I didn't. So tonight I'm fucking asking for my match. And then some authority person can be like, okay, this is what we're doing on the show. And people can go, well, that doesn't make some blah, blah, blah. But we all know that's what's happening. So Tone likes to pretend this is television. He sits there, he stands in the small gymnasium or a bathroom or a locker room, and he fucking pretends that this is television. The way he looks at the camera and he's talking, like if he actually talks to people like this, what a condescending, unaware fucking guy. Like, this would get so annoying. So, you know, in real life, he doesn't really just talk to people like this. And he's like talking as if this is part of the shows. And he wants to take the credit for making these matches and being like, they're all so great. And because of this, I did this. So that is part of it. And that is part of the lore in Tony's mind. Okay? You have to accept this if you're a fan of AEW. This is part of the lore in kayfabe. Like, this is obviously kayfabe here, right? It's not a shoot. So why don't we just have somebody represent Tone on camera like the Big Show or even Mick Foley, whoever you want to use, just the commissioner, the GM, and you don't have to book it it's like WWE. Well, don't book it the same way. You know, you don't have to have them come out and do anything, but fucking they can just walk out and announce the match. We're going to make this match. And they can come out wearing a headset too. I'm sitting in Gorilla and I'm sitting next to Tone and he told me to come out here and we're making that match. And then you just go back to Gorilla. Just book it that way. It doesn't have to be like we all know in kayfabe or whatever. And in real life, who's making the matches and what's going on. So it should be like the wrestlers explaining what Tone's explaining here. And then because of that, he always comes into these videos and goes, oh, there's people walking around the room and they're all storming into my office going, I want a match. So I'm making a match. Well, that should be on the show.
And with a conglomeration on
Tone doesn't get that. Every backstage segment is just either someone cutting a promo or someone gets attacked or is getting beat down. It's like a promo or a beatdown. There's never like, okay, because of this. Hey, I need to see this guy because if I don't see him, I can't get protection and I don't want to face this guy later tonight. Hey, if I fucking, I knock on Tony's office, I have a meeting with him and then turns out the commissioner fucking is listening in on the convo when he shouldn't be. And then that leads to him making a fucking match and Tone getting confused by or whatever, right? Like you got to have things happening and shit. It's not just like guy gets beat. This guy's fucking dragging a guy behind a truck in a coffin. This guy crashes a car and then they do a flip and they crawl out. This guy gets kicked downstairs, or this guy's getting that's all it is. It's always just like someone gets a bag put over their head, and then Moxley cuts a promo, or Willow cuts a promo, or fucking. And yes, it's obviously got to largely be a lot of that. But you also need other things than that, you know, and that's why people go, nothing's happening. There's no stories. It's because we're looping. It's repetitive, and there's nothing of substance. There's no beats. It's just the same 4 things. Resulting in the same 4 matches. Trios and fucking 8 women tags and fucking a tournament and the casino battle royal. Like
Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong being such great fighting champions, they said they'll take on anybody. And I think the LFI have got a great case. Now, the thing is, Beast Mordos is stuck in Mexico. We weren't able to have Beast Mordos back. I was hoping he would be back, but he wrestled last night in Mexico, as I'd mentioned. But there's a man who's on a plane back right now, coming back from Mexico. He did make it back, and that's Beast Mordos' tag team partner, Sammy Guevara.
Imagine Sammy Guevara went from one of the 4 pillars of AEW, right? Now he's literally known as the last 3 times Tony Khan has brought him up. Sammy Guevara. He calls him Beast Mortis' tag team.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
One of the 4 pillars to Beast Mortis' tag team partner. Holy fuck, man. You couldn't have fallen down any higher than fucking Guevara.
Oh my God.
And the LFI want a shot at World.
Hey, Miss Murder Kenna. Hey, Miss Murder Kenna. Make beauty stay if I. LFI, AFI.
Championship gold. So tonight we will have the conglomeration, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong defending the titles against the LFI. Rouge Stralistico, and a man who's coming in hot from Arena, Mexico right now, Sammy Guevara. And I'm excited for that match. So as I mentioned, we got big tag team and trios championship matches tonight with KJ versus Divine Dominion, the LFI versus the conglomeration. We have a big Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament match with Persephone versus Hazuki. The winner of that match will face Mercedes Moné very soon. And
you would think for a guy who watched wrestling his whole life, he'd realize why this doesn't work, how this is pointless.
There's so much more great action in store for you tonight. Last week on Collision, we had a great match with the Guns against the Dogs. And that was fantastic. And
whoa, so he just recapped everything and then he's still going to continue along with more stuff. Buddy, cut it there and then just like rip another vid at least.
There's a lot of history between the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs. And a lot of history, especially between Juice Robinson in particular with these gentlemen. And Mr. Finley and Juice Robinson have got a lot of history as a team themselves at one point. Well, Finley's current tag team partner has...
And like there's an air conditioner going off. It's like, dude, you're a billionaire. Get one of those nice fucking they cost like $5,000, dude. You get one. I'm bad with the technical names of the cameras and the equipment itself, but you get one of those cameras with those fucking mics on them that just pick you up crystal clear. Noise cancels out everything. Wear a fucking lapel mic if you have to. You're a billionaire. Have a camera guy follow you around 24/7. And again, he just shoots this shit like wherever there's like, you can tell by the glob of lighting on his glasses. Everywhere he goes, he just goes to where there's a fucking light, right? He just goes wherever there's a light. Okay, let's just film here and whatever. Meanwhile, like, he's so goddamn rich, just invest in like have 3 guys follow you around and do all this stuff and make it super professional, who can set up the green screen and put the fucking proper lighting wherever you are and fucking hit you with the camera with the nice audio quality and everything. And then you can also use this and air snippets of it. Not only would that be good for social media, and it would be a little bit different than what WWE does. I mean, it's what WWE does. But they also try to make it seem like guerrilla style. Tone could go the other way and be like, hey, I'm fucking, look at these, like, you know, they could go the other way and make it seem like produced with the fucking captions on the bottom, like TikTok for the fucking youths. You know what I mean? Like, you could go that direction with it and fucking maybe it'll go viral, Tone. I don't know, but this is crazy. This looks like a guy getting ready to set up for Comic-Con.
Challenge juice for tonight. It'll be Clark Connors one-on-one versus Juice Robinson. Of course, a lot of these former Bullet Club members we've seen interacting lately. Of course, we had a Bang Bang Gang confrontation with the Dogs last week, a confrontation between the Dogs and the Young Bucks, and now tonight, Clark Connors versus Juice Robinson. That's going to be a great match, one-on-one. And we've got the top teams, the top trios in AEW.
So again, it could be stories about the Bullet Club and not like about Bullet Club, but the way Balor and AJ were able to tell their stories with the Good Brothers and things like that, right? So there could be a story going on where it's like fucking not necessarily even about the Bullet Club, but how these three factions, like you got the Elite over here, you got the Dogs over here, you got the Bang Bang Gang, and they're all kind of in a mix, and you're talking about the history and telling the history and fucking talking about how they represent three different eras of the fucking Bullet Club at one point and how whatever, and especially leading into the fucking Forbidden Door show. That's when you do that. And look, you got all these guys like sitting right here at your disposal and they're all ready to work, and Jay White might come back soon and shit. Allegedly, he keeps teasing it, I think, but you know, you have all of it right there, but he just doesn't. It's just, they'll face each other and I'll tell you about it from the fucking small gym.
Last week, we saw a fight to end Collision. We saw STP attacking John Moxley on commentary after the main event match, a great international title fight, Garcia versus Takeshita. Mox got jumped at commentary. Mox is here. He's looking for a fight. He's put a challenge out to STP, and we'll have three of the biggest hitters in AEW and three of the biggest hitters in the Death Riders teaming up. Mox, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli to take on STP tonight. So many of the biggest.
Did he just say STD? Oh my God. Hold on a second.
You what?
Hold on. I know he said STP the first two times. He might have said STD.
Mox, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli to take on STP tonight.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. I was going to say. Now, I'm watching Collision. I've had it on. Hazuki's taking on Persephone. And they're actually, so far, having a pretty good match. Both these girls look awfully impressive. But Shane Taylor has been like a through line where he's got shit going on. Whatever's going on with his faction, I'm fucking digging it. And he's feuding with Moxley and shit. Okay. Maybe he can beat Mox and make a bit of a name for himself. I don't know if this has been a Collision feud going on for a while, but it's okay. It's okay. Not going to lie. They actually got a through line here. It might be over with, though. We haven't seen STP in a minute, but.
So many of the biggest stars in AEW are here on Collision tonight, and the show is on live from coast to coast. It starts early out west, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, live from coast to coast. Some of the biggest stars in AEW are in action, and thankfully, we were able to get Sammy back from Mexico.
Oh my God, you said that 4 times, buddy.
There's going to be this great trios title
match. He's looping.
The LFI versus the Conglomeration. We can't wait to get our other wrestlers back in from Mexico very soon. And of course, this big tag team title fight with KJ.
Yeah, you said it already. You said it. Wrap it up.
Dominion. I can't wait for STP versus the Death Riders. Clark Connors versus Juice Robinson, and to have the Owen Hart Foundation tournament match, Hazuki versus Persephone tonight. It all starts 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You don't want to miss it. AEW Collision tonight.
Holy fuck, guys. I don't know. It just gives off like dorky little brother vibes, you know? I guess nothing too terribly wrong with that. It could be worse. You could give off like John Laurinaitis vibes, which is no good.
Be gone.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, was the best guy is Tony Khan.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW News. So, yeah, Persephone and Hazuki having a pretty solid match there, bud. It's no Mystico, but Guys, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit heart and retweet. And we're 4 super chats away. If you guys want a sicko/wacko segment, primarily a wacko segment tonight, we can do that. Let's hit the goal. Let's break the goal. God damn, that was funny. That made me smile. Bigger than Tone on a Collision day. So we are going to get into we got some WWE house show shenanigans. So here, should I bookmark this? Might as well. We're gonna do some WWE news. And speaking of Fetty Wap earlier, 1738, I'm like it was a pillow. He smashed some light tubes on Tony Deppen with Nick Gage.
Fetty with the bundle. If you put a selection of names into a hat and shook it up, I couldn't have put together the scene that just unfolded here.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Looks like a fun time. It'll be nothing but a good time. Okay, so let's get into here. I'm going to pull up some Worldwide Wrestling Federation news here. And we will get into this as soon as StreamYard quits crashing my tab out here. Okay, yeah, let's head over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this next segment, and it is called Where the Fuck is My Sound? Where the Fuck is My Sound? There's just a couple of my sounds out of place here, too, on this board. Well, actually, a bunch of them on this one, but I started organizing it, but the Meltzer one's all way better. Thursday's show ran without a hitch. It's business meeting time. Behind the curtain time here at PWT. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Worldwide Wrestling Federation. So we talked about this before. WWE has officially retired the NXT Heritage Cup. The title has been removed from the champion section on the WWE roster page. Now, again, JBL was talking about WWE nuge maxing and lighting up Japan and Europe/the UK the way they did Mexico. Maybe they bring the Heritage Cup back if they ever bring NXT UK back. I don't know. I wasn't really ever a big fan of the Heritage Cup rules. Whenever on NXT a Heritage Cup rules match would come on, I was like,
oh, come on now, Eric.
You know? So we move along here. RIP Heritage Cup. Speaking of RIP, Logan Paul got his triceps RIP'd. And here's a clip from Impulsive with him he says, dude, I'll be honest. When CM Punk tore his tricep, dude, I just thought he was a major pussy. I had no idea. And let's take a listen.
This is not a work.
Shout out Impulsive and Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm. I tore my tricep off the bone. And a little piece of bone literally came with the tendon. It's insane because I'll be honest, when CM Punk tore his tricep, I just thought he was a major pussy. I cut a promo about it. I'm like, you tore your little tricep?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I forgot about
when
that.
Big Mike is like, Fox, he did. I proofread it.
Said it. I was like,
no way. You wrote a tweet. Fox.
This doesn't ever happen to me.
Oh, you dumbass.
Jeez.
You can't ever like
I didn't know that.
prey upon people's injuries.
I know. And he was just standing there, and I remember thinking, the dude tore his tricep. How is he out for 6 months?
How bad could it be?
How bad could
The dude tore his tricep. How is he out for 6 months?
it be? It's a fucking tricep. It's horrible. So,
dude, it's so horrible.
What had happened
Shame on
was
you.
What had happened was, listen to this fool. What had happened was,
Shame on you.
I was on the outside. A nearly 300-pound Dawkins comes flying over the ropes. He lands on me. My arm is flexed in trying to catch him, landing on the ground, and too much weight, too much tension. I could feel the tendon snap off the elbow. And it's interesting because the triceps, I can't even point. The triceps in the middle of your arm, but it came from the elbow. It came from the bottom of the tricep. Yeah, it detaches.
It's attached here and in the shoulder.
And I've been injured so many times. I knew immediately. And you can hear, listen closely to when it happens. You can hear me. I'm not selling like a wrestler. That's real pain. I'm like, because I knew in that moment I'm fucked.
So there you go, dude. There you go. Speaking of injured wrestlers doing the damn thing, Big E. I'm fucking stupid. Big E announced on IG that he will be giving a TEDx talk on August 12th in Davenport. Now, shout out Big E for doing a TEDx talk, but I don't think these have ever been taken seriously or been thought of the same since like Sam Hyde went and fucking pretended to be like an archaeologist or some shit at a TEDx talk. But shout out Big E, dude. So in other news, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, if you smell these two fingers that I have up, down, get down. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has reportedly declined Dana White's invitation to attend the UFC White House event alongside other celebrities. Other super celebrities like Adam Sandler, Mario Lopez, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and more. So like a bunch of celebs turned down invites to go to this thing. Even UFC fighters are like shitting on it. And the White House card. And apparently it's like supposed to rain. In Washington, there's like a heavy chance of like thunderstorms and stuff during the event. So who fucking knows? But, you know, Dana White is doing this event for his old pal, the Donald there. But even The Rock's like, I don't know, dude. It's just sketchy times. Like there's wars going on and shit. It's on the White House lawn. Everybody's there. Even Joe Rogan's like, people forget, man. They could drop a fucking bomb on us in Minecraft.
Conan!
So we move along here. And in other news, WWE and Juventus announce a partnership. So I don't know what the fuck that is. Let's take a look at Cultaholic. We've collapsed. Dumb. So the Juventus website. What the fuck is Juventus? Juventus Guerrera? You mean like Guerrera? Juventus FC, a football club. Okay. Fair enough. Shout them out. And sorry if there's any fans out there. I'm not a big soccer fan myself. So Joe Hendry, you say his name and he appears. He believes in Sam Hickey. So on Sky Sports, your boy Joe Hendry was there on Paramount Plus for Riyadh season. where I'm sure Tony Khan will be joining them soon. I'm sure AEW will be right there alongside Paramount, Riyadh season, Zuffa Boxing, WWE, UFC, the Ellisons, Ari Emanuel, and the Donald Trump guys. I'm sure Tone will be right up in there alongside them with AEW, appearing right here to get interviewed after. But yeah, Joe Hendry was on Sky Sports.
Before I came to WWE, I represented Scotland at the Commonwealth Games, and I believe that you were very successful at the Commonwealth Games as well. Exactly, he won the gold. Now, I mean, we don't need to talk about how I did at the Commonwealth Games, right?
You represented your country at the Commonwealth Games.
That's it, let's go with that. But, so I've had a taste of what that schedule is like, and again, you know, WWE is very intense as well in a different way. So I've been able to sample both and look, these are really difficult pursuits in sports, and it's all about getting ourselves to the absolute best condition that we can be to give the best performance for the fans. How do you feel about it, Sam?
Yeah, for sure. You know, for me, seeing Joe here, it's great because I grew up obviously watching wrestling. So yeah, it's brilliant seeing a Scottish wrestler doing his thing. And I never knew about the Commonwealth Games background, so yeah, that's unbelievable. So yeah, we both always have a mutual respect towards what we do, and I'm glad he's here, and hopefully I put on a good performance and he's impressed.
Before I came to WWE.
So there you have it. I couldn't make out one goddamn word they were saying. I'm joking. But as we move along here, some of the WWE superstars are having fun. Well, actually, tonight, Noche de los Grandes tonight, week 2, which I believe goes down right now. Rey Mysterio has a major announcement to make. And in other WWE roster news right here, you see here's Braun Breaker and Liv Morgan at the house show tonight, I believe. Talking shit to each other over Daddy Dom. That's funny. So we move along here. I think, is there any other AAA news? There may be. Yes, there is. So Chavo Guerrero details what his role in AAA was after WWE acquired the promotion. And he said that I signed as an independent contractor. I guess everybody's independent contractor type thing there. But I signed on as an independent contractor producer. When WWE first started their AAA show, they brought me on to help get that going. And I did. And I worked probably the first 4 or 5 shows-ish. And then was off a month and kind of came back. Right now, they're rolling on that. So they got that going. I'm around if they need me. Just give me a call. So to me, it's just a perfect fit. I mean, Lucha Libre and WWE, AAA and WWE, there's not a lot of people that know both like me, but I do, which is so true. You're trying to get these guys that are in AAA to kind of conform to the WWE way of doing things, and not that it's better, it's just different. Some adapt, some don't. So that's my expertise really is I get these guys to kind of show them how it's done here in the States and how to play the camera instead of just playing to the crowd. And so shout out Chavo. Again, I think Conan's kind of doing something similar. And I mean, he's still getting paid. So he's like, it's perfect. If they need me, they can call. They know where to call. And yeah, man, AAA is rolling on. And it's rolling on so much so that even one David F. Meltzer. Where the fuck is my here? I want to put AAA on myself as we talk about it. Just pulling up Noche de los Grandes. Let's talk about it. Where is Noche de los Grandes? I gotta put it on.
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
Okay. We have got it on here. Got to skip through these ads on the YouTube. Okay. And okay, I think this match is where Octagon gets hurt. Or is that Octagon? Yeah, it is, man. This might be where he lands on his fucking head. Or maybe he's all good from that instance. And yeah, damn, it's going to be fucked if they choose to air it and show the, So let's move along. Let's do some more WWE news here. So AAA, speaking of AAA, it's been so good lately that even one David F. Meltzer rated El Grande Americano versus the original El Grande Americano, mask versus mask, and Noche de los Grandes week 1. He gave it 5.75. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe it was a 5.75 star match. Personally, either. I would just give it, if the rating's out of 5, I'd give it a 5-star match. You know, like what's with this 0.75 bullshit? It doesn't even make sense. Because if you go up to 7 and 8, then that means all the 2s and shit are loaded, are voted lower, and all the ones when you're like Kurt Angle got 4, okay, but you extended the meter by 4, so so what does that mean? It was just a half good match, one that you thought you were rating, you try to argue is like one of the best matches ever, is what a 4 should be. Like 4 is still one of the best matches ever, you know? Dave's too stupid to realize that shit. But he caught some praise for this. He caught some heat for it. I just think Dave did this because he just knew it would make him seem out of touch, like for once. Like, a broken clock is right twice a day or some such bullshit. So he knew he had to at least give this 5 or whatever, but I think he rated it too high. This is what I mean. Dave just he always has to go overboard with how low or high he rates shit. That's almost like he's trolling, But this was objectively good, and I'm glad that everybody can agree on that, even one Dave Meltzer. But one thing Dave Meltzer likes to do, and it's not even about agreeing on shit, it's just he just makes shit up. We need flutes in fucking the chat right now. I want to see
flutes. The young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So,
because this is what Dave says. He goes, Ilya Dragunov is reportedly not viewed internally as a top guy by higher ups, but rather as an interchangeable mid-card talent. Now, here's the thing.
Shut up, bitch!
I've been critical of Ilya Dragunov. I've said it. Like, what do you do with him? And when he got hurt and he came back, I said, I hope it's not just the fighting Dragunov guy, because that's going to get tired quick. And I'm telling you, they tried that already. He was hurt for a long time. Now he's on SmackDown. Do something new with him. Okay. Now he shockingly won the U.S. title. Then he did the open challenge thing. He beats the shit out of everybody. I'm the most critical of this guy. He beats the shit out of everybody. So you can't have him on the goddamn show doing that every week. Here's the problem with what Dave's saying, though. They view him as an interchangeable mid-card guy. You don't know that. Yeah. Nobody told you that. You're a fucking dumbass. And nobody wants to hear this shit. When you say this, you don't need to bury the guy. Okay? Now, they view him as an interchangeable mid-card guy. That's what I said about Mick Foley talking about the mid-card in AEW. So again, Dave is projecting. He's hearing criticisms. This has been his campaign lately and his agenda lately. He takes criticisms that are valid when you put them towards AEW, and now he's just like trying to fit them into places where they don't fit with WWE to try and spin the narrative that way. The classic Dave Meltzer spin. Okay. And so now he's shitting on Dragunov here and saying he's an interchangeable mid-card guy. Now, or he's saying that's what WWE's saying. Now it's like, no, Dave, that's what you're saying. When really is he? Maybe. Is this valid for, or yes, is it a valid criticism? I guess it's your fucking opinion. Here's the thing though. When you say WWE saying it, now that's a problem because you don't fucking know that and you're a goddamn documented liar and delusional person. But also, if I were to, when people say, or if I were to say Kyle Fletcher's an interchangeable mid-card guy, so is Mike Bailey, so is Kevin Knight. Oh, how dare you say that's not, oh, that's foolish. You didn't study and learn if you think that Kevin Knight is an interchangeable mid-card guy. That's what he would say, or about Fletcher. Okay? Now, does Dragunov need to come up with something new and like really figure out how to wrestle where he's not just like fist fighting the top guys? Yes. You know, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you, but Dave is just a dumb fuck and just making shit up and sounding stupid and burying fucking wrestlers when he doesn't have to do it. So we move along, okay? And one thing that everybody, I think, can also agree on is that SmackDown hasn't been the best wrestling show as of late, just overall, right? If you're going to compare it to AAA, if you're going to compare it to Raw, if you're going to compare it to NXT, I think maybe NXT and SmackDown are in the run for like not the best if you rank them all up. Even compared to some TNA shows, even compared to maybe if you're watching MLW, I don't know. But right now it's the rise of like the MLWs and the AAAs and shit like that right now. So I think SmackDown's in a bit of a lull. And it's not that it's all dog shit, you know? And it's not like people are having bad matches, but there's just something missing, something that needs to click. And one thing that I think is getting tiresome on SmackDown is Cody Rhodes' constant looping in his storylines. Like he's just fucking looping over and over and over. And, you know, a lot of people are picking up on it. A lot of people share the criticism. Now, is it all bad? Like, is Rhodes particularly doing anything bad? No. Is Gunther doing anything particularly bad? No, but it's just shit we've seen. And speaking of shit we've seen, you know, Blake Monroe is once again coming soon to SmackDown. So they're like, she's coming soon, even though we've seen her backstage and stuff. Right? And she made it clear, like, I'm coming after Tiffany Stratton. And they're so close in, like, if you make a faction like Stratton, Chelsea Green, Blake, okay, or if like Stratton takes her under her wing or something, and I don't know, I feel like they're about to do the Blake Monroe, like they're gonna do a thing where Tiffy's like, you took all my shit, you know, like everything you're doing, you took it from me, you know, and she's gonna sun her a little bit, and it might be that Tony Storm type vibe, and they might go in that direction with this story, legit. And here's the thing, is that Blake Monroe, I feel like you got to keep her away from Tiffy for a little while longer. But she's just going right for her. They're coming right for us, Ned. So I just feel like we've been there, done this, and they're just teasing her fucking return. Or her, not even return, pardon me, her official debut, but this is kind of like her return because she was just on TV backstage like a week ago and the week before, but now she's coming soon again. I don't fucking know. It is what it is, but they're looping. WWE is starting to loop, and especially SmackDown. Okay? It's been looping. And I don't know who you put this on the shoulders of. Is this on the shoulders of Triple H, or they got Road Dogg out of there, and now it seems like the show's getting worse still. So what the fuck is, and the ratings aren't that good either. So I don't know what's going on here. So another thing that went down on SmackDown, Gunther will reveal his stipulation next week for a rematch with Cody Rhodes for the title. But as of now, the title match will take place in 2 weeks. So I like that they're building up to a SmackDown title match in 2 weeks. I wonder if all of the negativity surrounding like the fucking booking, and Dave is just doubling and tripling down right now on hating on it, and everybody's sort of jumping on the bandwagon of its shitty booking, even though I think Raw and NXT, everything's been fine. The PLEs I think have been really strong and shit personally. Nothing to blow you away. And they need to figure out, they need that spark. WWE does need that again. And like they're going back to the bloodline stuff. And Rhodes keeps getting in these situations where like these people attack him, like someone attacks him, and then fucking Rhodes scrapes it out, and then they're mad and they're like, this is bullshit. I need to get or it was Drew. This is bullshit, Cody Rhodes, and now it's Gunther. I need my rematch. Like, it's just everybody attacks him, and then he scrapes one, and then they get a rematch with him, and then they're like, oh, I'm getting screwed over type thing. And he just seems like the typical stupid fucking baby face. And we've heard those criticisms before, but now they're really starting to stick because it's like, okay, Rhodes, how many times do you let your fucking guard down like this? And it's they're looping. So Bloodline, they're looping. Rhodes, they're looping. This Tiffy stuff, it seems like they're fucking looping with her going after Tiffy. It's like, okay. And maybe that's, you can say, well, that's if they go in the direction of the Tony Storm stuff, that's like AEW-ish. But it just seems like Blake is doing Tiffy and going after Tiffy, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't know. So I do like that they are doing a title match in 2 weeks, but it makes me wonder, do you guys think that they will change the title on a SmackDown and then Gunther fights whoever wins the King of the Ring instead of Rhodes, and then Rhodes can get it back, like he can win the Rumble and get a title shot, like however they get, like Rhodes can win the Rumble and go to Mania again, or whoever, maybe not that, but he will find his way back to the title, obviously. Or maybe he gets caught up in the bloodline drama. Maybe he goes after Roman because remember they were eyeing each other down, and maybe like Rhodes gets the world heavy for a bit. Like, is this the time where they shock everybody and Gunther just wins it on a SmackDown and they make everyone go, oh, fuck, you got to watch SmackDown? Like, do you guys think that would do it? Or do you think Rhodes is just one of the few guys who's gotten wins over Gunther, and he just got another one over him? So, like, Gunther's lost to him twice. Gunther's got to win that belt, right? They got to just pull the trigger on it because they need some hype for SmackDown. Now, again, it may seem a little too, like, wishy-washy or like 50-50 booking, and I don't know if this reaction, like them putting the title on Gunther, would be a response to the online or whatever. I don't know if it would be that necessarily. That this may have been their plan the whole fucking time. We don't know, but it does seem kind of reactionary that they're like, hey, 2 weeks, another title match. And again, I've said this a million times. Rhodes can hot potato the belt around. He's able to. He's one of those champions where he's like John Cena. He can drop that shit and win it 100 fucking times. But Rhodes' babyface is getting a little stale. And I don't know if it would pop a rating for that particular show. It probably will because people anticipate it, but also like in the future, it might make people watch the next week to be like, damn, it's Gunther's reign now. Who knows? So they edited out also the fucking injury of Octagon from the match, which is actually the smart thing to do. If it's taped, you just don't need to show that, especially a scary situation. It's not a shoot. That's an element where you don't have to be like, oh, and he's injured on the field. Like, unless it was pivotal to the finish and there was no way around it, then you don't need to focus on it. So, WWE creative, it's getting heavily criticized. We have some criticisms from some folks here, okay? And we are going to start with JD from NY, friend of the show, avid viewer. Phil Marks, I frequently view your program. Right?
Sure thing, bro. Sure thing.
He's fucking said it, dude. He's like, you watching that Pro Wrestling Times? Go, hickory dickory dock. Bagoosh. So JD from NY had this to say about Cody Rhodes' fatigue. Well, this may be the reason why. So shout out JD from NY and whatever his show is. I think it's just like JD from NY 206 or 260 or 216 or some shit. I forget, whatever it is. That's the name of his show, or maybe this is his other show, Tuesday Night Titans or whatever.
What is it with all the heels? Can I just mention this? What is it with all the heels on this show that go up against Cody Rhodes?
What is it with this fucking bitch?
Having the same dialogue and all having the same storyline with Cody Rhodes.
It's true. It is true, though. At least Drew and Gunther back to back. Cena a little bit for sure.
Gunther's upset at Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes took a cheap way out. The heel feels robbed.
But here's the thing, though. This is all part of Rhodes planting the seeds of he turns heel. He gets some heaters behind him to have his back. Maybe Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Right? And he has his little heel group. And they're just planting seeds. And I've said it, like, Rhodes keeps doing dirty, heelish shit. And so the shock and awe of it comes after they banked on it a bunch of times. So what do I mean by that? Like, you're in a boxing match, you're fucking banking to the body. You're making sure you end every combo with a body shot. And then you throw the fucking high kick and your opponent doesn't see it coming. Boom, you land the high kick. They thought you're going low, right? So you're banking to the body. WWE banks on, and again, people say like training the audience like that's a negative, but it can be a negative if you're in Meltzer's camp and you're like, oh, they're brainwashed retards, Brian. But if you're like, you know, fucking every show, every game show, every show you enjoy, Stranger Things, they all train their audience to a degree, right? Some crazy shit's going to happen at the tail end. It makes you want to binge watch the next episode right away because we dropped our whole show on fucking Netflix the whole season. Like that, you know, television shows know how to train audiences to, we cut away here during the commercial and then we come back with this. And then that's training the audience. So it's not always a negative, right? So they're just training the audience to think like Rhodes keeps getting away with this shit and it will vindicate the heels, but it doesn't make the heels any less shitty of people either. But they were fucked over and it'll only put more heat on Rhodes when he inevitably turns heel. That's what they're going for, okay? Now, JD and other people are upset about this. Now, I'm not upset by it, but I definitely understand the whole Cody Rhodes fatigue thing. Okay, like people are getting tired of him as a fucking babyface, and it is getting into the like repetitive looping kind of stupid dumb white meat babyface territory.
Sure thing, bro.
But
sure thing.
But once Rhodes does turn heel, people are gonna pop for it, and it's because they're like, no, they're never gonna do it. Like they've teased it so many times, and they never did it. And that's why you're going to pop, which is different from, or like he keeps doing dirty shit and they're never going to do it. And then that's different from Cena, who truly like just turned out of nowhere.
This week after the pay-per-view, he's got to complain about it. He causes a commotion on the show. He destroys stuff at ringside. He clears the announce desk. Sometimes the heel gets suspended. Sometimes the heel quits. Then they all approach Nick Aldis and do something stupid or say something out of line. They get thrown out of the building. They get their lawyers involved, like here with Gunther. Why is it that all the heels have the same storyline?
Yeah, I agree with like the whole, oh, I talked to my lawyer and now I get a rematch. It's just like, fuck off with that, dude.
And with Cody Rhodes every single time. Kevin Owens felt like he was robbed. Kevin Owens felt like he was looked down upon. He went on a crusade saying he was right. And it was very difficult not to believe Kevin Owens. Drew McIntyre recently did it. He went on a crusade that he was right and that Cody was the golden boy and gets everything handed to him.
Like he gets everything handed to him. Like he doesn't need a booster seat at the buffet. He doesn't need to sneak stilts on to get on the roller coasters. I'm dying over.
And he felt cheated. Drew McIntyre even quit the show to come back and get one over on Cody Rhodes. And then sit down with Nick Aldis and get lawyers involved for a WWE Championship. Which he eventually got and won. Only to then lose it. And now we're doing Gunther, who got robbed, called Cody Rhodes the golden boy, wants another rematch, gets lawyers involved, gets upset with Nick Aldis. What is the rerun slop when it comes to Cody Rhodes? Why are all of Cody Rhodes' feuds so similar? Does this writing
He's right. He's right. I mean, when you're right, you're right.
team know how to do anything else for Cody Rhodes? Or do they treat all the heels like the same? Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre.
Or do they treat them all like the same? Oh, or do they treat, is the name like Neil and Bob, or is that like what you do's? Go.
Heels like the same. Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, now Gunther. Tell me when I'm telling lies with this lazy fucking creative.
This fucking creative. Why I oughta.
It's garbage. I needed to get that off my chest. Awful.
There you go. So he hates it. And here is the coach and bro being very bro. Now let me, Jonathan Coachman, let me tell you, I invented the triple cage from Ready to Raw. Bro, I invented the pro wrestling business. You know, I told that Mark Nick Khan that I would not work for him, bro. I hand to God, bro, I would not work for World Wrestling Entertainment if they paid my life insurance. So Coach and Bro link up, and they have some tough talk here for TKO and WWE.
Right, so I feel like Nick Khan does interviews and doesn't remember what he says, kind of like Triple H. And remember 2 years ago at WrestleMania 40, there was all this uproar and of what night one would be and night two would be. And The Rock, Triple H, hell, even their documentary said it was one way. Listen to this quote, Vince, from Nick Khan in the last day or two. I can't believe this. Quote, by the way, this was on like the Sports Business Journal podcast. By the way, the plan was always how it ended up in Philly 2 years ago. It's a predetermined outcome in wrestling. Thank you for telling me that, Nick. You want to throw the fans off. You want to let things bake. And then boom, and it ends up the way we wanted it to end up. It never changed. That was just online rumors and gossip that we were changing. It never changed. We convinced Dwayne Johnson to come back. He's on our board of directors. It was a tag team match. He's about the same age as I am. So 2 years ago, let's say he was 50. He was obviously in phenomenal shape. He did everything that we asked of him and then some. The result of that tag match was a bloodline rules match. And then we know they changed the outcome because Cody was never supposed to win. And it was supposed to be Rock and Roman Reigns, according to everybody. But apparently now, Nick Khan. Mr.
Yeah, he's just working fucking marks. He just tells everyone we're in control. We control everything. You just put up that fucking, I just don't really see the issue with it.
Russo, your take.
Everyone's like, he's delusional. He forgets what he said. No, he knows what he said, and he's just saying some other shit. It's like Dana White. It's like all these fucking guys, you know? It's like the fucking from the top down, okay? All these motherfuckers do this. It's billionaire fucking swindle talk shit, you know what I mean?
Listen, Coach, there's just so much with that company I don't get. It's not rational anymore because, first of all, and I've said this a million times, why is Nick Khan doing interviews? When did Nick Khan become one of the boys? When did Nick Khan become a celebrity? That's number one.
Okay, so number one, Vince. He doesn't. He's like super well known in the business world. Okay. And it's not about him being a celebrity. And when did he become one of the boys? He's not speaking as one of the fucking boys. This isn't a kayfabe. He's not on Dark Side of the Ring talking about whatever.
Number two, why are we talking about something that happened 2 years ago? Why are we even talking about that? Number three, and Coach, I clearly remember.
I agree. Vince is actually right on that one. Why are we talking about 2 years ago, bro?
Guys, during that time, there was an in-ring between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and Cody said to Roman Reigns, I'm going to take everything from you except your title. Yes, and what Cody was talking about was that's because Rock was going to take the title, and Cody was going to take the Lola Falana. Okay, it was
the Lola Falana.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
It was as clear as day, bro. As clear as day. And anybody can go back
Lola Falana sounds like a fucking rejected Star Wars character.
and watch that interview. So I don't know what Nick Khan is doing. Again, anybody can go back and watch it. There was clearly a change in direction. So, Coach, like what? I don't understand. Like, what's the point?
I feel like with this group of guys right now, and I've had, some of my connections reach out to me and tell me certain things that are going
Every time Coach says that, he's wrong about what his connections
on behind the scenes. As much as Nick Khan is a great agent and can negotiate billion-dollar, we know he can.
Right.
But I really believe, Vince, that his ego wants us to believe that he's the guy that runs WWE and not Vince McMahon, that he's the guy that makes these decisions and not Vince McMahon. We forget that Nick Khan did not even come into the picture until he was asked to negotiate the $1 billion Fox deal when he was still at CAA. So
the Fox deal, bro. The Fox deal, Coach is just extrapolating a bunch of dumb shit. The fuck are you talking about? Bro, he came in and yes, he helps put all of the business stuff together. He doesn't want anyone to think he's head of the creative. He just wants everyone to think that they're just in full control and that nobody controls or can dictate what they're doing. They're just going to, do what they're doing. He's not sitting there going, I booked the road stuff and I want people to think I was the one who booked the Rock and all shit. It's not that at all, dude.
I don't think people look at Nick Khan like Nick Khan wants them to look at him. And now he puts himself...
I think they do. Everybody looks at him as like fucking one of the greatest business people of all time who like deserves the credit for where WWE's at.
WWE, and now he's a part of Zuffa Boxing with their new thing. But to me, Vince, it's a clear divide because you're right. If they were all on the same page, they would get in the room and be like, what is our message going to be? And every time something comes out, it, to me, cements what you and I talk about all the time. He's basically calling The Rock a liar.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. Because Rock has said, and you remember the documentary, Vince? You remember how it was delayed for 2 months?
Yep.
WrestleMania 40?
Absolutely, I do. We talked about it right on this show.
100%. Because it would be one way.
Yeah. So, Coach, what you're stating is the obvious and something that I think I've pointed out. I think I pointed out before anybody else. Are you stating that Nick Khan has a big head?
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Shout out to coaching, bro. And lastly, Maven has been talking a lot of shit. He put out a video called Why I Hate Triple H. And we're not going to watch the whole thing, but he wrapped it up with this. Hopefully some kind words for Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who's going through it.
Now, I know you guys like to highlight anytime I go at Triple H, and that's perfectly fine. I hope you keep doing it. God knows I'm going to keep doing it on my end. But the truth is, I pull for Triple H. I want Triple H to be successful, both in wrestling and in his personal
Liar.
life. He did make me a better
Maven here. Between 2003 and 2005, I had the opportunity to have one of the best jobs in the world, being a WWE superstar.
in-ring wrestler while also making his presence known backstage. But the truth of the matter is, to do what I have grown to love, this, I need Triple H to be successful. So, Hunter, best of luck to you. Now, I know.
It's weird. It is weird. Why? If WWE isn't successful, you could still talk about wrestling, you fucking mark. No. Shout out Maven Huffman. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE. 613-805 for two sweet says, can I get a you fucking mark for JD? Oh, you fucking mark. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. And thank you for the support. Oh my goodness. Maven, I don't know, man. They are getting it from every fucking angle. Triple H and WWE are. And in other, breaking news. So in other breaking WWE news, this is breaking. So let's check this out here. Thirsty Thurston. Thirsty Thurston says the WWE merger trial has been canceled. Court administrator for the Delaware Court of Chancery, Tamara Burton, confirmed to me this evening. We haven't confirmed whether a settlement has been agreed to or is being worked on. The trial was previously scheduled to start on Monday. And then Evil Dose says, I told you, these cases always settle. So they just settled this shit and they canceled the fucking trial that he's been doom and glooming this whole time. So there you go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Worldwide Wrestling. Okay, let's get into the newest segment here in PWT. My favorite segment here in PWT. But quickly, before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jericho. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my favorite segment. It's the newest segment of the show. And it is called Dirt Sheet Fails. So this Saturday evening, we are going to be talking about Matt Kane. who gets completely dragged by the entire pro wrestling community for being a dumb fuck. So Matt Kane Music, who has me blocked, had this to say about JD from NY. And we talked about JD. Oh, I'm over it now. Right? And so JD tweeted this out. This will be the last thing I say to you because you're literally a fucking idiot. And I can't remember who he's saying this to. I report your... Oh, yeah, this is to Sap. And he goes, I report your news. So does everyone else. The major difference is you've cultivated an audience because you report news and surround yourself with garbage personalities who peddle the same gabago. Right? And he went at it with fucking Sap. And Matt Koon, for some reason, comes and licks the balls to protect Sap all the time. And Matt Keen's even tweeted things out like, anybody who hates on Sap, you're just mad that you didn't make it. It's like, no, some people don't want to do news and lie and pretend you don't do news. Some people don't want to do that, huh? Right? You can criticize people and not be jealous of them. It's boomer lol cow vernacular that we've heard time and time again from many fucking people. Brendan Schwab, Greg Opie Hughes, the Duke, Stutter and John, right? So many fucking lol cows. They're just jealous, man. It's the same fucking thing. Okay? So this guy goes, bro thinks he's tough. If you're going to unnecessarily slander JD from NY, at least have the guts to tag him, Dominic D'Angelo. And this Dominic D'Angelo guy was like, JD from NY has short man syndrome. He's like if the Keebler elf tried to do a Bronx tough guy dialect and wasn't good at it. But the problem is that that is how he talks. That is how he sounds. So I don't know. Part of JD is he sounds authentic, you know? Comes across as authentic for sure, whether you like him or hate him, right? That's the appeal of him. But this guy goes, I would, but he blocked me like a tough guy. And he goes, because he don't got time to deal with creeps like you. He's got millions to make while you got millions to take from yo home. But here's the thing, man. If people are being fucking stupid and annoying you, fucking block or mute them. Like it doesn't mean anything, you know? And then Matt King goes, imagine simping for a mid-level podcaster. It's because JD is a documented pussy. Oh, my God. Do you see this shit? And he goes, imagine simping for a mid-level podcaster. Bro, you simp for Sap, dog. And then Bully Ray jumps in and he goes, imagine calling someone a mid-level podcaster when you have no podcast and your past ones failed. Boom, roasted. And now this is in dirt sheet fails because let's face it, Matt Koon has had pods with wrestlers. I'm pretty sure a couple of them, and then busted open as half a fucking, if you want to consider it a dirt sheet, not a dirt sheet. They don't break any news, but they do get exclusive interviews and kind of get quotes that people run with. Like this guy revealed this on Busted Open. Fail. Okay, it's not quite sickos, but it qualifies. And so Bully Ray felt Matt Kane, right? And we continue along here. And so Alfred Kunawa, friend of the show, takes a lot of shit from these sickos and Tony Khan and people. And this is how you know that Matt Kane is just he's just a loser with no thoughts of his own. Okay. He just goes with where he thinks he can get ins with the crowd. And you can tell because there's no reason for anybody, unless it's just cult-like behavior, to hate on Alfred Kunawa. To this day, he rated Double or Nothing an 11 out of 10. He rates the matches 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10. He fucking loves AEW. He was quoted. Tony Khan used Alfred Kunawa's quote in commercials that he aired during NXT to promote Dynamite. But as soon as Alfred Kunawa criticized them about not pushing more black people, and as soon as Alfred Kunawa, and you can agree with that or not, but who gives a fuck? That's his opinion. And as soon as he started posting fast nationals that Tone would post when they were favorable for AEW, but As soon as he started posting them and they weren't favorable for AEW, all of a sudden the Fast Nationals are discredited. Tony Khan hates Alfred Konuwa, kicks him off the website. Dave Meltzer hates Alfred Konuwa. Matt Koon follows suit because he's a little fucking bootlicker. And Matt Keen goes, "You're a fucking idiot and a blight on the whole community." Alfred Konuwa. Okay? Wrestlers see Alfred Konuwa, dude, and they fucking handshake him up. They dap him up. They go, "Dude, you make awesome videos. Hey, dude, I've seen your shit. Hey, trust me." Okay? Wrestlers see Matt Keen and they go, "God damn, that's a big fat ass." You know what I mean? So there's a difference. No one takes him fucking seriously. So he calls Alfred Konuwa a blot on the whole community. And so Alfred Konuwa says, "To be human is to be a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Your dead father is a hypocrite." And he's talking about Mick Foley. Mick Foley is a hypocrite. Tony Khan's family donated to Trump. Tony Khan is excited to work with Paramount, who are friendly with Trump and Ari Emanuel and the Ellisons and fucking TKO and all. He doesn't want to work with TKO because of their ties with Trump, but they're going to go to Paramount. Mick Foley is a fucking hypocrite. He just wants the cash. All for the cash, man. It's for all you heads. So and then JJ Alexander says, "The utter hypocrisy of Matt Goon, a known pedo defender." Okay, that's allegedly. I don't know about that. Calling "This is nasty, a blight on the community" is equal parts sad and hilarious. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Hit him with the tagline. "Bitch, shut the fuck up and back the fuck up while we fuck this track up." And so, this account, of course, Matt Koon responding to fucking suspended accounts because he's a goddamn freakazoid. And he goes, "I had a podcast by myself for a year. It actually did better than the previous podcast I did with a controversial wrestling figure. At one point, I realized I'd have to pretend to get angry about wrestling like every day. Decided to leave instead. I'm an angry dude, but not about wrestling." So listen to this fucking cope from this goofball. "I have to pretend to get angry about wrestling every day if I want to make it. Or is it that you just aren't talented? Shut up, bitch. Is it that you're uninteresting and you fucking lick balls and you don't want to piss anyone off and you're scared to actually voice your real feelings," which is what JD does and other shows do, and that's what makes them popular, and you just don't fucking do that because you don't want to piss off, you want a job, you want a gig. "I could make tunes with Mikey Ruckus. AEW themes, I've thought about a few."
You fucking mark!
So he decided, "I'm going to leave instead." JD unblocked me to respond. I wasn't even talking to him. Fragile fella reblocked me instantly. It's just like, buddy, here's the thing. When people block people, I go, "Yeah, that's your prerogative." Why? Because I will block people if they're fucking too, or I will mute these sickos who just every fucking post, they say something, they just looking for bait. Don't interact with it. Yeah, you fucking block. It's your social media. You're allowed to block, mute, whoever the fuck you want, buddy. Okay? But he's got me blocked right here. I have to bookmark around Matt Keen. I can't even bookmark Matt Keen. I have to bookmark people responding to him, like Bully Ray, who goes, "Make that a jealous, self-loathing, obese bag of failure." Oh, he called him obese. You're so jealous of JD. Instead of complaining, why don't you start another podcast? Do something, you lazy fucking hating bum. And here's the other thing too. Matt Keen, does he cope like that about music? "Well, I realized I'd have to sell my soul to the devil like Iggy Azalea to fucking make it in the music business, so I quit that too." It's just all cope with him. It's not because you're just mid and fucking untalented, And so JD unblocked, "Not any amount in downloads would ever make me feel better about being a bitch-made pussy with zero heart." A bitch-made pussy. So that's like what? So you want to fight him because you're friends with Dax Harwood? You're going to fight JD saying shit like that? It's crazy, bro. Poor scared little fella. Also, he's a documented racist. Well, JJ said you're a documented pedo defender, so, There's a lot of people hurling fucking crazy ass insults here. So JD goes, every time I am mentioned, I get traction with a clip or a take. Matt is right there, like Hangman was with Skrull outside of Cracker Barrel. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. And here's the thing, too. It's true. You see Alba, you see Matt Keen, you see all these same fucking people reacting to the same shit. And you're just like, dude, calm down. Like, it's just so cultish. I had a podcast by myself for a year. It actually did better than the previous podcast I did with a controversial wrestling figure. If you had a podcast that was successful, you'd still have a wrestling podcast, Matt. Exactly. Exactly. You don't, because every single one of them failed. How many? 7, 8, give or take? Oh, has he had 7 or 8 different pods with wrestlers and shit too?
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Just like Sap, nobody gives a fuck about Matt Koon. Never have, never will. You needed to latch on to others to find some sort of relevancy. I do not. People watch me for me, my personality, my content, and my brand. The more you tweet at me or me, I laugh. You so desperately wish you could do what we all love, and that is make a career talking about what we all love. You hate that I've done it and you can't. Go. But JD's 100% right. Fucking smoked him, and that's the fucking
Wrestling's
thing.
not fake!
When John Alba and these guys are like, oh, you're just wrestling grifters. You just grift, and it's like, buddy, no, you just suck at fucking podcasting. That's what it is. And you're uninteresting, and you're not funny, and you're not entertaining, and you want to take the route of, well, these people at the inside are telling me all these inside things. And then your fucking opinions don't matter because we see who you interview and shit like that, right? So just people aren't stupid, and people are fucking not interested in like the shit you're pushing and the shit you're selling. And then they call JD, oh, you could never do what we do. I promise you, JD from NY could get wrestlers to tell him things and then do news if he wanted to. I promise you he could. I promise you. You can't do what he does, though. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, JD Glazer either. You guys know, right? I'm just keeping it real. You be fucking interesting. Be entertaining. You guys aren't. And JD has that down. Whether you like or hate his fucking, the whole vibe he puts off, he's entertaining. And people, he's a good speaker, and people like fucking listening to what he has to say about pro wrestling. No one gives a fuck what Matt Koon or John Alba has to say about fucking wrestling, unless it's the news. Okay? And that's the problem with all these guys. And I've said this a million times. Sean Sapp, Dave Meltzer, that Adrian Hernandez guy or whatever his name is, that chunky dude who gets all the interviews. All these dudes get the fucking interviews, and then they think their opinion on the shit matters. No, bitch. You're a fucking interview guy. You're a fucking dirt sheet guy now. You're the news now. Sorry. No one cares about your fucking opinion about it. We just want to know the source stuff, or what some people want to know that shit. So again, JD pointed that out previously as well in that other tweet we read, and he's spot on with it. And I respect him for that. So Matt Keen says, the SRS hate is the age-old story of it should have been me jealousy. No, Matt Keen, that's what you think. That's what you think because you wish it was you in music and podcasting and getting the dirt sheet inside scoop and having the wrestlers tell them the shit in reporting and getting the 300,000 followers. You wish that was you. A bunch of people don't give a fuck about how many followers someone has, and they don't give a fuck. And guess what? People don't care because there's people with shitloads of followers who get less viewers than other channels with shitloads of fucking followers, okay? Like I have 118 on just watching on YouTube. I was watching a channel the other week with 400,000 subs, over 400,000, and they had 65 people watching their live. Why? Because it's fucking boring ass caca, and people know they're not stupid. When they're entertained, they fucking watch, they listen. You know, and if you want to cope about your level of success, I don't know, market better or fucking do something to stick out, fucking be more interesting. You know, you can try, there's a series of things, but just calling people grifters and being like, oh, it should have been me jealousy just because you call someone out for like, I don't like this person, or I think they got too many stories wrong, or there's too much op-ed shit from news guys who should just be getting news because that's what they're actually good at. And then they start giving their opinions and talking, you know, stooging shit. And we know clearly people are running to them and we can piece it together and we know who's in their pocket and who fucking isn't and who, you know, it's, and like not even the sheets, like some wrestlers are in the sheets' pockets too, because they'll cover them favorably, as we've pointed out and documented over the years on this show. So it's just like Matt, and then he repeats the sap vernacular here. Like, it's just jealousy. No, I don't want to be like a news Walter Cronkite guy. That's what Sap wants to be. No one's jealous of that, okay? I know the guy. I've made my own assessment, okay, but people think you're a dumb fuck and a shitty person and that you defend pedos, allegedly, according to JJ Alexander, right? So people think that. So if they think that about you, then you go, I've made my assessment based on many people don't trust your assessment, okay? People aren't going to trust your assessment because it's likely shit. Professional and personal. He's good. Y'all are weird and jealous. And that's what Sap says. You're weird and jealous. You're obsessed. Right? Because then it makes it like what you're doing is something wrong and we should be fearful of us doing this wrong stuff. Right? Cash Monet with $1. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. So much. Did you mean to type something and didn't? Yeah. So we move along here. So we're just all weird and jealous, even though Matt Koon does the same thing. He just hates on JD. And JD is the most popular wrestling pod, and you're just not weird and jealous because you had 9 fucking pods that failed and you're projecting. And so, again, Bully Ray goes, live shot of the sickos after TK does an interview with Coach and Vince Russo. And then Matt Koon goes, lying again. Why do you care? Like, he takes it personally. I am a sicko. You know something? I am a fucking sicko. You son of a bitch. You know, he takes it fucking personally. Ugh. And then Bully Ray goes, tell me you took this tweet personally without telling me you took this tweet personally. Exactly, dude. You just felt it yourself. No, we're not running around like SpongeBob. And then look at what Matt Koon posts, though. So, no, you're lying about Tony Khan. And then when it comes to the TNA hate, because it's AEW versus TNA right now, what does Matt Koon do? Like a good little soldier. And I'm just reacting to what he says and does. This is irrefutable proof that you're a fucking ball-kissing, boot-licking sweeper for people, Matt Koon, who wouldn't piss on your gums if your teeth were on fire. So he says, hey, TNA, Carlos Silva, the last thing y'all need right now is bad will among hardcore wrestling fans. It looks like y'all are doing WWE's bidding. Is that the optics TNA is looking for? Buddy, it looks like you're doing AEW's bidding, though. So what are we really talking about here? Like, what's the fucking difference? You know what I'm saying? And so Raj Giri responds to this guy, Kevin Klee, and who says, The Rock beating Cody to a pulp in the rain, talking cash shit was my favorite moment of the last 10 years. At least shit was like a comic book panel came to life. Raj Giri goes, that was one of the most memorable beatdowns of the century for sure. Matt Koon goes, for no reason. Didn't sell the match. Was just a Rock ego moment. So now he's going back in time and in hindsight going, no, The Rock beat Rhodes down for no reason. It was a Rock ego moment. It didn't sell the match. So when he's like, no, don't turn those fucking cameras off on The Rock. No, it's not cut, Mama Rhodes. I say fucking cut when it's cut. You know what I'm saying? Like that Rock moment in the rain with the blood at the bus. He's saying it didn't sell the match more and make it any. Like, buddy, you're a fucking full blown sicko dumb. Like it absolutely sold the match more, put more heat on everything. You know, fucking Matt Keen's just loopy. So JJ Alexander says, this is just another example of why Matt Goon is not a booker and spends his day verbally sucking off Tony Khan when he's not publicly defending pedos. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Damn, man. Going nutty here. And so Matt Keen had this to say. He got in an argument with Raj Giri. And so they go back. Holy fuck, man. These guys are nutty. So Elbu goes, I was told for over a decade that this is just what wrestling crowds are now, but WWE began to start telling proper stories in the 22-24 stretch. Lo and behold, fans were willing to suspend disbelief, buy in, and cheer the baby faces and boo the heels. Elbu, they've always done that. Like, just because you were born in 2010 and you're a little fucking herb doesn't mean that that this shit, that they stop booing people and stuff. You're such, Elbu's just beyond fucking stupid. And so Matt Keen goes, nailed it. Every time fans cheer against type, it's a creative failure. So all of AEW. So John Moxley's a creative failure. So when they're singing for Jericho's theme, when he's the bad guy, creative failure. So when they're booked as tweeners, creative failure. Matt Keen is, oh my God, dude. These guys, you notice they all flock together and defend each other? Just spurgs, man. Spurg maxing. And so Raj Giri says, yep, Flair, Savage, Austin, NWO, Rock, Cena. What creative failures? Exactly. NDX, everything. Matt Keen goes, I stand by it. You stand by it, but you're wrong. I'll stand by it, though you may be confused. If a script is written to elicit a reaction and it gets the opposite, that's what I'm saying. No, that's not what you were saying, because you would have said this part, Matt Keen. You would have said that in what you said, but you didn't say any of this. The fact that you had to pull a Mount Rushmore of exceptions who fit your argument, no, the problem is that it was a whole generation. It wasn't a Mount Rushmore. It was the whole generation of fucking the Attitude Era was cheering the fucking hardcore crazy guys and the suck it, dick chopping fucking bad guys, beer swigging guys. It was a whole generation of that. The minority of their careers missed the point, and yes, Cena was. So again, Matt Keen's just low IQ. And Raj Giri goes, there's nothing wrong with having a bad guy that's freaking awesome and fans think are cool if it's best for business. Just look at most of the Batman movies. The greatest superhero movie, in my opinion, is Dark Knight, and that's because of the villain. But as far as me pulling out the Mount Rushmore, it's just scratching the surface. In more recent time, you got Omega, MJF, LA Knight, AJ Styles. Exactly. And then Matt Keen goes, you're talking about booing Batman and cheering the Joker, though. You think that's better for business? Oh, what? Uh-oh, class. What the fuck?
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
What? What the fuck? It was. I was cheering the Joker, and that movie was the second biggest of the franchise. You wanted that lady to die? Now it's a discussion about Christopher Nolan's fucking DC Comics endeavors. And
Wrestling's not
fight! Oh my God. Holy fuck, man. It's too good. I love this show. I love PWT. Do you see more people dressed up as the Joker for Halloween or Batman? I mean, I don't. What kind? And then Raj Giri, come on, what are you doing? Now, don't play his game. Don't bite on this fucking bullshit, Raj. It's Halloween, bro. Monsters, killers, bad guys. Most people dress up as Dracula than Van Helsing. But if people rooted for the villain in the book, no one would today. This is such a dumb conversation. It's not even about rooting for the Joker. It's just the Joker was cool. You weren't rooting for him to burn Gotham down, but it's like the element. Well, the reason Joker resonated is because his plight. You're kind of like, yeah, he's right. Like it's fucking. Some people want to watch the world burn. It's like Thanos. You're like, You know, he makes a good argument, but fuck that guy. He wants to wipe out half of existence. You know, that's just not the right thing at its core. So both of these guys are just off fucking base. And now we're talking about cheering for Dracula, bitch. Nobody's cheering for Dracula, but he's cooler than Van Helsing. Okay? Holy fuck. God damn it. You don't have to cheer for Sabretooth, but he's cooler than like fucking when he's fighting one of the fucking J-Brone X-Men or whatever after fucking up Wolverine, and Wolverine's got to heal up. You know, he's fighting fucking Jubilee. Sabretooth's cooler than Jubilee. We're not cheering for Sabretooth to kill her and fucking take out the X-Men. So anyways, both these guys, this is so funny. Your shrub of bad guys should be cheered as good guys is good for business is kind of ridiculous. No, it's not bad. Okay, Matt Keane, is it bad for business that they cheer the bad guy? He's just doing like a shitty dumb argument where it's like, okay, apply the same logic. This is what you do when you debate, right? You just apply the same logic to yourself. Your notion that bad guys should be cheered to fucking is good for business. Okay, but if they are, is it bad for business? Like, you know, we've seen both is that what Raj is trying to say. It's not always a bad thing. So I don't know. And he goes, dude, do we need to take this to a podcast? You're being obtuse if you don't think that the Joker was what made the movie a phenomenon. The Joker is cool as fuck. And while you don't agree with everything he did, you were drawn to him. The same goes with the NWO back in the day, Austin, blah, blah, blah. It's okay to have the heels that the fans like if it overall enhances the product and the storylines. And then, yeah, so again, Alfred Kunawa responds. So Matt Keane goes, this may shock you, but there's a difference between a journalist and a talentless, pay-to-play, compromised, chessboard, vulnerable, desperate grifter. You're not the first one. Here's the thing, Matt Keane. Alfred Kunawa would beat the shit out of you. Now, I don't want to take it to the physical level, but when you drop these, like, you're a pussy ass bitch motherfucker, it's like, bro, that's when, like, you could get your shit slapped. And are you ready for that, dude? I'm not saying Alfred would do it, and I know he's my bud, but, like, buddy, you're just, like, going too crazy when you are a fucking talentless hack. Okay? You've had 8 podcasts fail. Alfred's video, his YouTube is successful. His videos he does are successful, and he writes for Forbes. So when you're like, oh, they're just jealous of Sep, but they're not. But Alfred, you can't chalk him up to that. And you only hate him this much because Daddy Tony Khan told you to hate him, and Dave Meltzer told you to hate him. Meanwhile, they used to fucking use his quotes in commercials. So how could he be all these things? So, okay, let's say he is all of these things you're saying. So that means when he was putting AEW over, he was a compromised, pay-to-play, talentless, chessboard, vulnerable, desperate grifter. Okay, so that's who Tone taps into to put AEW over. Okay, well, I get why you're fucking on board. I get why you fucking bend over and go, aye, aye, Captain. Aye, aye, Daddy Tone. Put it in slowly this week. It's been a rough one. Sauce for 2 sweet, says Cash. Super chat didn't go to number. He's 8. This is 9. Yeah, this is 9. I think, did we fail it? I think we set a fucking like a 3-hour clock or something, but I don't know if it says failure to you guys. Sorry. But we're in dirt sheet fails right now.
Epic fail.
Thank you so much for all the support, PWT Universe. You guys all fucking rule. But yeah, that is 9. So Alfred responds and says, get him, Matt. I gave it a like, so now you're up to 10. Don't listen to what everybody says about you being a fat racist who lost in the game of life. You're not that fat. Oh, no, he's still pretty fat, though, but you fucking cooked him. He baked him right there. And so here's Bully Ray jumping in too, who has a successful show, by the way. And so Matt Keane goes talking about JD again. He goes, dude is, I'm doing Logan Paul. Dude is the biggest joke. Got to give it up to him, though. That's got to be extra hard considering how stupid and ignorant he is. And JD was just saying, the second week in a row, Oba's gotten the best of Brock. WWE is following the simple basics to make Oba into a superstar. And so this guy's mad because objectively Oba's like a big ass star and everyone's like, oh, Oba. And his strut's all mainstream and everyone loves him and Brock put him over. Matt Keen's just like, God damn it, how fucking dare you? But Bully Ray goes, he has a successful podcast. You have failed multiple times and have nothing. You're the joke. Damn, dude. And shout out Bully Ray, like standing up for him, because it's shitty how you only hear, like, why would WWE guys stand up for JD? But then the AEW guys print shirts with him on them and are like, yeah, JD's a gay little bitch or whatever that fuck, FTR's like, you couldn't get into the fucking party. You're a fucking na-na-na-na loser. We're going to give you a swirly. It's like boomer bullying fucking tactics, It's so lame and cringe. So shout out Bully for like not partaking in that. And so Matt Keen goes, and I posted this, I screen grabbed this and went, what a dumbass, or someone sent this to me. Matt Keen goes, and don't be, it was back then. Nah, as a white dude, me and my friends thought this was racist as fuck. And we're like, well, at least Booker will win. So he's talking about WrestleMania, I want to say 19, or was it 21, where Booker T went after the world title to take out Triple H and his reign of terror. And then Triple H was like, and people like you don't get title shots. And here's the thing, man. Even if it was towing on like borderline racist, it's a fucking fake storyline in a show. So when you watch American History X, are you like, oh, the fucking racist, like, or whatever the fuck, like it's a piece of art. And so even if it was borderline, they didn't go full racist with that storyline, but it was more like the disenfranchised person, let's say, and just the underdog and someone who came from fucking nothing. It's the same thing Jacob Fatu's essentially doing, but he's in the bloodline, so he has that connect. But his whole thing is like, I came from nothing. I was in the cell block. Like, I had fucking, like Roman, you had everything. They wouldn't give me the call. Now I gotta get mine. You know what I mean? Like, it's another way of showcasing it and not towing the line of like, I'm going to be racialist towards fucking this dude. But with Booker T and Triple H, it's like, if Booker T's okay with the shit and it helped get the fucking angle and the storyline over and it got Triple H heat, well, he's a villain. Okay. So you were supposed to hate him. Now, was it fucked when Booker T lost that match? I can't remember how old I was, but I was heartbroken. I was devastated. A young Phil S. Marks was like, God damn it. I was like, no fucking way. And especially, this is what killed me, is how Triple H hit the pedigree and then they just laid there for like a minute. And then fucking Triple H covered him 1, 2, 3. It was like, oh, come on now, Eric. That one fucking destroyed me. But I just think that like it was an effective angle and we remember it and it tugged at the heartstrings and it really made you cheer for the fucking underdog, man. And it really took Booker to another level, man. Like, I don't know. I think Booker T is, in WCW, they had him doing GI Bro. And I'm not trying to compare anything or say what's more racist or whatever the fuck. And even though people say that's racist, like, fucking Booker T's like, no, I'm like, I love my GI Bro gimmick and stuff. Right. But it's just a matter of just times were different. It was more racy for sure. And like, I don't know. It just elevated Booker. And if you don't believe that, I mean, he became like a 6-time champion, King Booker, all of that stuff, came from that. And you just hated Triple H and that was the idea. But King Booker and all of that came because he was able to carry this program and stuff. It came because he went to SmackDown and then, he was in and around the picture in the U.S. title and they redid the Benoit stuff and all. And he had the U.S. title, whatnot. But then he was in the main roster picture and he was fucking King Booker. And for sure he was able to handle that, and that came with a bunch of ridiculous stuff. They did crazy, like Kurt Angle's like, I want to have bestiality sex with your wife and stuff. Fucking craziness, dude. But anyways, Matt Koon is going, oh, that was racist as fuck back in the day. And then Triple H took an Eon to cover Booker after the pedigree. This is something that shouldn't be forgotten. But meanwhile, Booker and Triple H get along super well. So again, don't be Captain Save-A-Ho. Don't go fucking white knighting for people who aren't asking for it, Matt Koon. You're a fucking dumbass, and that's why you were the focal point of Dirt Sheet
Fail.
My new favorite segment, and we'll get to this one later. It involves Mercedes Moné. Okay, guys. Let's see. Yeah, we went 344 and I put it through. We had 9 super chats. You guys we epically failed. It's all good. It's all good. We went way over the fucking time limit, I guess. So we'll just call it. Wrestling's not fake, I guess. We'll call it a time limit draw. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all for being here. I had a blast tonight. It's fucking flew by. Also, they just ended that AAA show after like 42 minutes or some shit. I don't know what the fuck that was. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the fucking support. You guys already know it. Check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I've been uploading at least once a week on there. I'm going to do some bonus Dave Meltzer on there. And the Tough Enough Season 2 watch along is coming. Me and JJ Alexander. I appreciate you all. I've been Phil S. Marks.
Oh my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And I'm going to finish this disturbing Michael Jackson doc and play Forza 6 on cloud. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate everyone who super chatted in. Again, we hit 9 of the 10, but we did it in like well over the 3-hour thing. But not that the time limit really matters, but we're just going to call it kayfabe tonight. Okay. And we'll do the sicko segment on the next show for sure. We'll do the sicko segment because it's ready and it's fucking good. And it's a wacko segment and it's really fucking good. We will do it on the next show. I assure you, we won't just skip it or nothing like that. Okay. But, W stream. Yeah. W. I appreciate you all. I got to get out of here. It's getting late. Peace and love. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for being here. It means the world.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup.